Good afternoon, good morning, and good night. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. The Eagles demolished the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, and I feel pretty good about it. But I got to be honest with you. The Dallas Cowboys are a dreck franchise right now, and that quarterback couldn't beat like that team that played in Roadhouse on the beach. With Bodie and Keanu Reeves and Warchild and whoever was in that game, it was embarrassing to see that Dallas Cowboy team turn into as feeble a team as they are. I was like stunned, and to put a quarterback like that out there was pretty embarrassing. But I digress because I want to give the Eagles a lot of credit right now because they took care of their business, even though they started off really slow. They got it together, and they made it a rout. And now they have the big test coming up. Actually, 3 games in a row that should be a big test for them, starting with Thursday against the team that lost yesterday. So I don't know how this plays out. In any event, this is the Mike Missanelli Show. The gang's here. Bill Colarulo, Ray Dunn. And the first thing I read here is a headline that says, is it time to start looking at the Eagles as a legit title contender? Well, you've already pronounced that, Bill. So they have won 5 straight. Now, all of these with these wins have come against teams with a below 500 record. So this will be the ultimate test. So this is why when you said that they're legitimate title contenders, I go, oh, okay, but hold on a second. I got to believe that a little down the road. I thought they would get a test from Dallas. I really did. They usually have trouble down there winning games. I thought it would be a close game. It turned out not to be. So either the Eagles are that good or the Cowboys are that bad. And if they're that good, we shouldn't have a worry about the next 3 games. We should be soaring into the horizon with this momentum that they're a really good team and that they are a contender along with Detroit, the top 2 contenders in this conference. Bill, what say you after watching that game?
Well, it was a dominant performance, and I know there's some people who are reluctant to declare them as true contenders, even though you're right. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, because the old cliche, you can only play who's on your schedule. And the Philadelphia Eagles are dominating bad teams. When you're a good football team, you are supposed to dominate bad teams. They've dominated the Cowboys. They really dominated the Jaguars outside of a couple of bad decisions by Nick Sirianni that kept him in it. They dominated the Cincinnati Bengals. They dominated the New York Giants. And it's the way they're playing right now. It is true complementary football. We knew the offense was going to be good. We knew the offense had talent and skill. But what we didn't know coming into this season was how good this defense could be. We were hopeful that maybe the defense would be in the middle of the pack and the offense would be good enough to carry this team. This defense is unbelievable right now. And I get it, they haven't played great quarterbacks outside of Joe Burrow. But what they're doing looks sustainable. They're creating turnovers. They're holding tight in the red zone, not allowing teams to get touchdowns when they get down there. Zach Bond's all over the field. The rookies, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, these guys look like absolute studs. It's time for Eagles fans to be excited because not only is this team 7-2, you know they've only played 3 of their 9 games at Lincoln Financial Field. 3 of their 9 games. And since 2021, I'm going to give my man Nick Sirianni a little bit of love. Since 2021, there are only 2 teams in the NFL who have won 22 road games. Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs and Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. List over. Road wins is a direct reflection of your head coach, and this Eagles team has done it better than anybody since Nick Sirianni's been at the helm.
Are we ready for the song? Let's play it. I mean, what the hell? Might as well.
My wife told me I'm not allowed to sing anymore. But after a blowout to the Cowboys,
it's okay. You can sing. You can sing. I know you're itching to. All right, so here's and we're going to get into a lot of this, and we're going to, listen, they didn't look good early, and to the point where people were just killing Hurts again on social media. And they'll never win with this guy. Blah, blah, blah. He fumbled, and he threw an interception in the end zone in reverse order. And he got sacked 5 times. He got pressured a lot. Got sacked 5 times. Fumbled out of one of those. But the drive before the half was key. And that seemed to really settle them to the point where they just dominated. And there was no way. Like, I'm looking at the game, and even as they're struggling, I'm going, this Dallas team can't score. With this quarterback, they can't. They're not going to score. That's the way it turned out to be. Against this defense, that inferior quarterback was not going to be able to make some magic. With those running backs, he wasn't going to be able to make some magic. He had like 2 guys on offense that he could really count on, and he was terrible. I mean, he was an embarrassment to the NFL, Cooper Rush.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
I mean,
he can't play.
He is a bona fide scrub. He's had some moments where he's looked okay. He looked like he was shaking. From the first series of that game, he went, whoa, 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 whoa. And that was the end of that.
What does it say about Trey Lance? Like, how bad is Trey Lance that he can't get on the field over Cooper Rush? Because Cooper Rush doesn't look like he belonged in the NFL yesterday.
No, he doesn't. And you remember all the stiffs that they threw in there. Like I said, well, you call for Ben DiNucci. Get him back in there.
Right.
Let him play because he at least looked better than Cooper Rush. But I don't want to take any starch away from the Eagles. They did a great job yesterday putting away a team that really is disintegrating. And like I was saying, like, you can't have that coach go back in that locker room. After a performance like that, they're dead. The quarterback's going to have surgery. How do you stay with that coach the way this team has fallen apart?
They can't. I don't know if they'll stay with him the rest of the season.
Well, Jerry Jones said they're going to stay with him the rest of the season. I don't understand why they would, because after a game like that, there's nothing that coach can say that's going to make them want to play. That's why you got to just change it up.
Yeah, they're done. They're done at 3-6, and now Dak Prescott's getting a second opinion today, but his season's most likely over. So Cowboys are going to just bag this season, I'm sure. But you made a great point earlier. You said it was that drive right before the second half. After Hurts fumbles the ball inside his own 10-yard line, it's a 7-3 game. Yeah. Defense comes out. They hold them to
field goal.
1 yard.
Yeah.
Right? 1 yard.
Yeah, which is like, that tells you all you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys.
It does. But at that point now, you have a 7-6 game. Hurts has now fumbled the ball. He threw the red zone interception. They come out. They go on a 7-play, 84-yard drive at the end of the half to score a touchdown to go up 14-6. And then they come out after halftime, Mike, and they outgained the Cowboys in the third quarter, 116-3. And they turned that 7-6 game into a 31-6 game.
What was the big play in that drive? The one I've been calling for, which they should run 10 times a game.
What's that?
It was the slant to
AJ?
AJ.
It's unstoppable.
35 it goes for. They used it once.
But I didn't love the way Hurts was playing early, and I don't want to give the guy an excuse, but I don't think this is an excuse. It's just reality. How much do you think that sun that shines through that window was affecting his vision? It seemed like he wasn't seeing the field clearly. He was holding the ball a little bit too long. He gets sacked 5 times. I saw some pictures on social media. It looks ridiculous. You got $1 billion stadium or whatever the hell they paid for that stadium, AT&T Stadium, and you have a blind spot?
I never noticed that at that stadium before, but it probably had some effect. It probably had an effect on Cooper Rush when he had CeeDee Lamb wide open in the end zone and probably didn't see him because of the glare. But, yeah, listen, Hurts tried to throw a long ball in that game. It was feeble.
Oh, to Devontae.
Yeah, that was a feeble throw.
It was a weird, bad throw. He had
it
him,
really
too.
was. That should have been a touchdown. All right, so I don't know how people feel about this team right now, because that game was so non-competitive that I don't know if the fan base of the Eagles gained any wisdom.
I think they did.
All right, well, we're going to see.
I don't know.
We're going to see today, because I wasn't really noticing that during the course of a game. It was like, oh, my God, this team they're playing is just a shell of what an NFL team should be. Like, they weren't even – I don't know. Maybe it was embarrassing to watch Dallas.
It was, and I know we're talking about some of the opponents they've had during this 5-game winning streak, but when I say they're dominating, the Eagles' defense has been number one since the bye.
It's been good.
Number one in almost every category.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I said that quarterback wasn't going to score against that defense because that defense is playing that good. All right, so we'll kick it around today. We'll go over the course of the game. We'll have Tony Romo talk about who the Super Bowl contenders are, and you might be, interested in that. We have Al Michaels on today, the legend.
I'm looking forward to that.
Al Michaels at 12:15. He'll be in town in the next couple of days because the Thursday night game is the big one on Amazon. Commanders at the Eagles. Al will be doing the game. We'll talk to him about that game and in general, his career. So here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. Your calls after this.
Now is the time to be...
Mike Missanelli Show.
There it is. Mikey misses birthday today.
Oh, yeah. Well, another year older.
And
You get to a certain point, you don't even count them anymore.
what a better present, though.
You just try to stay young and you move on. That's what I do.
The Eagles dominate the Cowboys, and Jared McCain goes off for an overtime win for the Sixers. That was all for Mikey Miss.
Yeah, he did. I'll have something to say about Jared McCain a little later in the show.
Yeah, you didn't like what he did the other night.
The Sixers get a win last night, and that's good. And I don't want to, cloud the topic that we have now about the Eagles. But did anybody think it was weird that the game went to overtime and the star player was on the bench because of a minutes restriction?
Frustrating.
Now, here's the thing. Most people are numb to this now because it's like the notion, wow, you got to preserve them. And this galls the crap out of me. Was 2.5 minutes of that 5-minute overtime period going to be too much? Really? You're trying to win a game and you adhere to the minutes restriction?
I'm with you, man.
I don't understand it. And I'm listening to the broadcast and nobody's even saying anything about it. It's like it didn't even exist.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
I'm going, where's Paul George? And I'm not hearing anything from the broadcast. And I see him on the bench and I go, well, did he get hurt? Minutes restriction. Okay.
They get the win. They get the win. Eagles dominate. It's your birthday.
They served both masters yesterday because they rested them and they still got the win. But I'm going, huh? All right.
Yeah, it was weird.
I guess they thought they could beat that team without him in overtime.
It was weird, but a good performance by McCain. Big performance by the Birds. Should be a good day here. Does Al Michaels know it's your birthday? Is that why he's coming on with us today?
No, he doesn't. We didn't discuss that. So, all right. So let's hear from Tony Romo. Do we have Tony Romo? I want to hear Tony proclaim where the Eagles are in the hierarchy of championship teams.
The way they're playing, the offensive line is dominating football games. We all talk about Barkley and Hurts. They've got so many weapons, but this starts up front on the D-line and O-line. They are dominating right now, and they are a real Super Bowl contender.
Oh, well, there you go, Bill.
There it is.
You and Tony.
I've been saying it for a couple weeks.
At the hip. Super Bowl contenders.
Well, one of the reasons I kept saying I thought this team were Super Bowl contenders was not only what they've been doing on the field, but I said, look around the NFC. Is there any team in the NFC that you would say is unbeatable? Well, we saw the Commanders lose to the Steelers yesterday, even though Mike Tomlin made a ridiculous fake punt call. Did you see that from his own end zone?
Yeah.
Which was basically...
I tweeted it out, how stupid that was.
You gifted them 7 points. And then C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans let the Lions off the hook last night. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions last night. They looked terrible, the Detroit Lions, but C.J. Stroud looked worse, throwing a couple bad interceptions in the second half. No team in the NFC is unbeatable. The Philadelphia Eagles are right up there in contention to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. A lot of season left, but fans should be excited and they should get on board because this team is a good football team, and the defense is 1,000 times better than anyone could have predicted or imagined.
All right, I do believe that they are better than the Commanders. So
it's a tough game Thursday.
Yeah, but I think they're better. I think they should win that game. Now they're gonna stumble one of these upcoming games. It's gonna be a loss. It might be Pittsburgh, but I think they're gonna win Thursday.
Well, Pittsburgh, they got a couple games even before that. You got Washington, at L.A., at Baltimore.
Yeah,
that's a tough 3-game stretch.
Baltimore is going to be an L. I don't know if they can lose consecutive games. I look at this Rams game. I go, well, they could lose out there, but they probably won't.
We get a little bit of an extended rest because you're playing Thursday against Washington, but you do have to go cross country, and then you got a back-to-back road game coming back from the West Coast. You got to go down to Baltimore, which isn't a horrible trip, but it's still on the road. But there's no reason why fans shouldn't be on board with this team. With the weapons you have offensively, with Jalen Hurts, I know Jalen Hurts is another polarizing figure, similar to Nick Sirianni. Hurts, all he does is win. I mean, this guy, to have those 2 turnovers in the first half, and that interception he threw in the end zone, I think that was more of
great play,
phenomenal play by Trayvon Diggs.
That was a great play.
The fumble, unacceptable.
I agree. That was open.
But look, the guy, he bounced back, put it behind him, and had a really good drive at the end of the second quarter, and then a great second half.
I will tell you this, though. People can't wait to criticize him.
No.
They really latch on hard when he's playing poorly. They're never going to go anywhere with this quarterback. I'm going to read some of the tweets that I was reading during the course of that first half where they weren't exactly in the flow. But let's go to the phone. Silver in Germantown. What's up, Silver?
Hey, Mike. What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, man?
Hey, listen. Basically, I touch bases. It wasn't a great play by Trayvon Diggs. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
He stared. As soon as he hiked the ball, the only number he seen was 88. So,
no, I get it, but that guy made a nice close. A lot of cornerbacks wouldn't close as quickly as Diggs did there.
And another thing, we don't need Tony Romo verification on if our team is Super Bowl bound or not.
Oh, why did that bug you? I mean, it's nice to hear a national guy say that, doesn't it?
Tony. Yeah, I don't want to hear.
You're just down on Tony?
I hate when he, advertise our game and he's the one announcing the games. I don't like Tony Romo, to be honest with you.
Why is that? Does that go back because he was a Cowboy quarterback? I actually think he's pretty good.
Because somebody asked me why the game was going on. I thought Fox handled these games. I said, yeah, I did too. But look who's, broadcasting.
Wow, you got a problem. This might be, what is this the Tony Romo hate about? I want to get to it.
I mean, it's always going to run back to the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. So you hate him because he was the Dallas quarterback.
Yeah.
But you hate Aikman, too? Because I think Aikman does a nice job.
Yeah, you got 2 quarterbacks.
I hate Aikman. I hate Romo. I hate Staubach. I hate all of them dudes, man.
At this point, the Dallas Cowboys are pathetic. That's the way I look at them. They're not even worth your hate. Come on, man.
They are worth my hate because of the years where they were great. We're never going to forget
but they're over. They're over. You got the high road now. As an Eagle guy, you got the high road, Silver. Come on.
All right, so let's move on with the Eagles and stay positive.
All right.
So,
you got it.
All right. Defense shut them all the way out. When we need moving forward, we need N'Kobe Dean and Zach Bone to continue to keep anchoring these defense like this. I've never seen linebackers on the Eagles like this. 2 of them like this? No, I never seen it.
Yeah, I agree. Bond's been flat out amazing. He really has.
They got to get him extended.
He's playing at Pro Bowl level.
It's unbelievable what he's doing. They signed him to a 1-year, $1.6 million deal.
It's a bargain.
They need to get him signed now.
Now, what are they going to do? They're going to close the cash register because he's a linebacker like they did with T.J. Edwards?
I hope not. They found a diamond in the rough, and it sounds like Bond loves
Hicks.
it here.
Those linebackers who were actually effective.
Yeah, they don't usually pay linebackers.
Yep. 610-632-0975. Super Bowl contenders. I don't know if the fan base is feeling it yet, Bill. Tony Romo's feeling it. Bill Colarulo's feeling it. Right? You feeling it?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. They're all feeling it. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Sirianni song.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. I'm looking at these tweets of Jalen Hurts in the first half, and it's just insane. This guy, you're not going to go anywhere with this guy. I knew it. He's got a trash arm, blah, blah, blah. What is it? What is it about people that like to come after him? What is it? I want to get to the psychology of this.
I still think that it's the people who didn't believe in him when they drafted him. When they took him in the second round and you still had Carson Wentz, there was a lot of people who were angry about it. And then when they decided to turn things over to Jalen Hurts, I think there were more people angry. This guy can't be an NFL quarterback, and you don't like being wrong. So you look for every little thing. Anytime there's a mistake, you're going to overreact to it. Like if you watched the NFL yesterday, and you watched what Jared Goff did, and you watched what C.J. Stroud did, and you watched what Jaden Daniels did, then you should bring the same energy you're bringing towards Jalen Hurts, because quarterbacks don't have perfect games every single week. But we do tend to overreact to our starting quarterback. Jalen wins, man. You keep hearing Sirianni say it. The guy is a winner. And, yeah, the turnovers, didn't love him. But that's not been a problem over the last few weeks. He cleaned it up.
He was holding on to the ball again in the first half.
5 sacks.
Yeah, and that's what I think people are like. He's done that in the past, so it triggers in people. I can't believe he can't get rid of the ball. But he usually straightens it out. But it is really interesting. I don't know what it is about. Is it his demeanor? Is it keeping the main thing, the robotic thing? He had another beauty yesterday, didn't he? Didn't he have a word of like a saying of wisdom?
I think he was talking about momentum, right? Did he say something about how momentum is?
Yes, it's about momentum. Yeah,
yeah. He said something where it's a mirage. It can disappear quickly or something like that.
Momentum is a mirage.
Yes, it was another one of those. We got to find that one, Ray.
I mean, that could be it. He's like, he's like robotic, and I don't know. People can't get to the heart.
Right. That was in response to his. That was in response to his fumble. So if we have that clip of him responding to his fumble, I think that's the one where he talks about the mirage.
Yeah, it was momentum. You're absolutely right. That's what he was talking about. All right, it's hysterical to me because people just can't wait to get the knives out for the guy. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to South Carolina. Eric in South Carolina. What's up, Eric?
Mike, what's up, Mike? Happy birthday, man.
Hey, thank you, buddy. First of all, let me clarify. The most important part about this day is that it's Veterans Day. Not my birthday, right? And so shout out to all the people that served this country. And I remember I used to get Veterans Day off going to, early elementary school and stuff, and I didn't get punched for my birthday because I had off.
Is Veterans Day always the 11th?
Yes. Veterans Day is November 11th. They used to they don't give you the day off anymore, but back in the day, they would give you the day off. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Mike, I was just calling because I wanted to kind of piggyback off what you said earlier. In regards to, we did play well yesterday. I was impressed, but I think the real test comes Thursday and the games after Thursday. So that's what I'm really anticipating to kind of, come up with if we're ready to be actual contenders or not. I think these next 4 games is going to.
I got you. I'm looking at Washington. I first thought that maybe they could lose that game, but I don't know if Jaden Daniels can beat this defense. This defense is really playing well. I don't even. I guess the line is out already, but I don't see them losing Thursday.
Yeah, but the scary thing about that kid is, even when they do lose, it's not his fault, Mike, and he don't make a lot of mistakes, man. He actually scares me a lot, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, he's got this thing going with Terry McLaurin that's crazy. He's crazy chemistry with that guy. But I don't know. I think this defense is really pretty buttoned down at this point. It's going to be difficult for that kid to come in here on a Thursday after playing on Sunday to win that game. I think the Eagles being home is a comfort.
Okay, so look, the next 4 games. Let me get your personal opinion. Where do we finish? 2-2, 3-1, 4-0.
Probably 3-1.
Okay. All right. Yeah, yep. I can agree with that, Mike. Yeah. I can agree with that. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, Eric, you got it. Good talking to you.
Buddy.
Thanks, buddy. There he is, Eric from South Carolina. I love Eric.
So he's asking about the next 4.
Yeah.
So he's throwing in.
Let's look at it. All right. So
he's throwing in the Panthers.
Let's. Well, I don't even. I stop at the Panthers.
That's what I mean. It's really the next three.
Yeah.
Although the Panthers beat the Giants.
So you got Washington, the Rams, Steelers, right? Is that the way it works?
Yeah, Washington at the Rams, at the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens.
Yeah, the Steelers are after Carolina, and that's a home game.
All right, so can they? I don't know if they can lose 2 in a row. To be honest with you,
back-to-back road games. It's a Sunday night game in L.A. Then you come back. Now the one positive is I went and looked at the Ravens schedule. The Ravens are also in L.A. on a Monday night, so they got a short week on the road the week before.
So what are you suggesting that they go on the road and lose to the Rams and then come back and beat the Ravens? Is the Rams game the one that's troubling you?
I don't know. I don't know. Both of those games are going to be tough. And the biggest game probably is this Thursday. Because if you beat the Commanders on Thursday night, not that I would be okay if they lost both, but I probably would be okay if they lost both. Because now you're sitting there, you're 8-4, and you have 4 of your next 5 at home. Mm-hmm. And you got the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Giants mixed in there. So if you beat the Commanders, you've set yourself up nicely because even if you lose 2 in a row to L.A. and Baltimore, you're 8-4 with really 3 guaranteed wins towards the end of the schedule between Carolina, Dallas, and New York.
Yeah.
All home games. That's 11 wins right there.
I'm looking at some tweets yesterday, what I'm talking about. This Jack4739XV, whatever that is. Mike, could you please start talking about Hurts being a below-average quarterback? I'm sick and effing tired of hearing he's in the top echelon. And now in caps, at his best, he's average. Here's another one from Ben. Hurts' arm is trash. Tony Green Eagle. Hurts doesn't have the arm, and that play showed it. I think that was the one where he tried to throw it long to Devontae. And they just come out with knives. Because I go, if Cooper Rush beats this team, it will be one of the most surprising developments in NFL history. And then this guy goes, well, how about Hurts? It's like unbelievable. Is Hurts just stupid? You would know. You would think by now he would know when to get rid of the ball. What the F is Jalen doing? How many years left on Hurts' contract? Oh, my God. When you have a bonehead for a quarterback, game could go either way. Jalen isn't awake. Jalen looks like S, holding on to the ball, unaware. Back to the Jalen S show. These are all three. Boom, 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 boom. No, it's Jalen Hurts that stinks. I mean, serious. Jalen stinks. Play calling stinks. Jalen Hurts getting outplayed by Cooper Rush. When was that? Hurts isn't looking much better than Rush. I mean, I swear to God, I can go down, and there's like 30 in a row. Hurts sucks big time. He can't play quarterback. Hurts garbage today. How do you lose to a lesser team? Turn the ball over in the red zone, then give it away on your own 5. Hurts with 2 TOs so far. Welcome back, Mr. Turnover Hurts. He's awful. Cannot win with him. Oh, my God, dude. It is unbelievable.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
It's the same thing that you get with Jalen Hurts that you get with Nick Sirianni. Is the haters lie in wait, and the moment a mistake is made, they're going to pounce all over it. They'll ignore all of the good. They'll ignore all of the great things that have happened.
I want to get to this. What is it about Jalen Hurts? Now, listen, you've been tempered because they won the game and he had another efficient game. But what is it about Jalen Hurts that makes you go crazy? By you, I'm saying the listeners who are on that side of the tweets that I just read. Because I know you're out there. What is it about him that makes you get a little crazy?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I would. I'd like to know also because I know last year the collapse is still on a lot of people's mind, and Jalen didn't play great. I think a lot of that had to do with the offense and the play caller and Nick Sirianni's offense getting stale. We all agree on that. But the guy comes back this year, and turnovers were a problem early. But outside of yesterday, he had 4 really good games in a row. 5 straight games without an interception. So he has a couple bad plays in that second quarter. It happens. I just think that we, as a fan base, sometimes demand perfection. And I get it. People say, well, we don't accept just winning games. We need to do it the right way. No quarterback is going to be perfect. And like I said, if you watched the NFL yesterday, there were a lot of quarterbacks that struggled. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. Could you imagine if Jalen Hurts had thrown 5 interceptions in a game the way Goff did last night, what our phone lines would be like today?
I don't know what it is. I'm trying to get to it. Here's James. Get rid of the ball. 5 exclamation points. He's never going to learn. Him and Sirianni are a match made in hell. Idiot brothers.
That's what I don't get it.
That does hit on a little bit of one of the tenets I think that the fan base has with him. He hits a really core tenet of armchair fandom, where you're sitting in your couch yelling, "Get rid of it! Get rid of it! Throw it away!"
Exactly.
And I think he drives people nuts with that, and they go to the nth degree with it.
Because here's Murph. Murph tweets, "My wife, who knows absolutely nothing about football, just said, why doesn't he just throw the ball away?"
He drives people nuts with that.
But they do win a lot of games. Since 2021, you're talking Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Only 2 quarterbacks have more wins than Jalen.
They win a lot of games, and he's tempered his play to the point where he's almost a game manager who makes a couple of big plays a game. And yet people still are like, he freaks them out. And I just want to know what it is. That's all.
He had 4 touchdowns yesterday.
I know he did.
4!
Yeah, listen, nobody tweeted this kind of stuff in the second half. I'm just saying, like, they can't wait to drop insults.
You're reading the tweets that are still up, too.
Yeah, a lot of people deleted.
A lot of people tweeted and deleted.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
All right, let's go to Q in Mount Airy. Okay, Q, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
What's
guys?
up, Q?
Ain't nothing, man. I just wanted to say, if you're going to listen to Tony Romo about Super Bowl expectations, you're crazy. That's how I'm going to start it.
Well, he's giving you a compliment, man. Just take the compliment.
I'm a Cowboys fan. What do Tony Romo know about the Super Bowl?
Oh, you're a Cowboys fan?
I'm a Cowboys fan. I ain't listening to no Tony Romo, man.
Yo, Q. Q. My
country,
condolences, man, with the Cowboys.
Look, I'm fine, man. I'm 35. I'm cool. I had my winning years. I want to say that the Washington Redskins, they shot their load. I don't feel like they.
Yes, it's the Commanders, Q. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm
all right, that's all right. Go ahead.
Shot their load.
Yep.
They shot their load already with a rookie quarterback.
I don't think they did that. I don't think they did that.
Over.
Yeah, I don't think they did that. Now, they played a good game on Sunday. They just got outpointed.
They did, but I'm talking about in the win-loss column. They're going to play a lot of good games, but in the win-loss column, they shot their load. They still got a rookie quarterback. It's the NFL. It happens. They got their 7 games.
We'll see. We'll see.
Y'all real test is, I say, the Rams and the Ravens. That's the real test because I feel like everybody that's going to be in the playoffs, y'all lost to so far.
Let me ask you, Q, let me just get to this part of it because I talked about last week the one species of people that I hate are Cowboy fans that live amongst us. So I want to know. I want to know how you became so corrupted.
I say, growing up, my first year of football was '95. So you know.
And I played for a midget league team called the Cowboys.
No. I played for
All right, go ahead.
I played for
I'm sorry.
Okay. But you know, if I looked on TV and I wanted somebody to look up to, there was nobody on the Eagles to look up to.
Yeah, that's so flimsy. That's so flimsy. That's so flimsy.
Give me one star. Give me 3 stars.
It's so flimsy. The object of a team representing your area is what the fandom is all about. You don't get to pick and choose.
Yeah, you get to pick and choose.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It makes you a fraud.
And Q, in 95, the Eagles were 10-6. They won a playoff game. Now, they did lose in the divisional round of the Cowboys, but they did win a playoff game. Who'd they have? Randall back then? Who was the 95? Who would have been their quarterback?
I don't think it was Randall.
Let's see. Who was the quarterback back then?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was Randall.
It was 95.
Yeah.
Only a couple games.
What doesn't matter? What matters is that you. This is a phony thing that people do. Like, well, they were on TV and they were winning. Well, okay. So what? So what? Like, have a little understanding of your geographical area. Like that's what I like. Have pride in your geographical area. Sometimes the teams are going to be bad. Sometimes the teams are going to be good. You don't get to pick and choose.
Nah, I'm with you on that.
And I know people out there. What are you talking about? It's free. It's America. We're free to choose who. No, you're not. Not when it comes to fandom.
And not that this matters, but yeah, Randall was the quarterback, got hurt, and then Rodney Pete took over that year.
There you go, Rodney Pete. And they went to the playoffs, right?
Hey, they had your man.
Did they beat Detroit?
Yep, Ricky Waters was on that team.
Also,
yeah, they smashed Detroit that first game.
He said, 95 is when he started to get into football?
Yeah, that was the last time they were good.
He also started the call with, I've seen my winning.
Yeah.
I guess congrats on the first year fandom, bro.
Yeah.
Not really.
My winning.
But I am curious, to Mike's question today, for people out there, like, what is it about Jalen that makes him such a polarizing figure in the city? Like you said, is it his personality? Because you've seen this guy win a ton of games. You go back 2 years, he outperformed Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And the haters will say, Mike, because I've seen it, I've taken calls.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that fumble lost him the game. They will ignore all of the good that Jalen did in that game and talk about the ball that slipped out of his hands. That's all they'll focus on.
Yeah.
And you see that now week after week after week. The moment the guy makes a mistake, Twitter blows up. I actually tweeted that out yesterday. I said, following along on Twitter during an Eagles game is hilarious because the Sirianni haters will overreact every single time they can. Everything's on Sirianni. If the offense doesn't look good, Sirianni. If the defense doesn't look good, Sirianni must be in Fangio's ear. Hurts makes a bad pass. I told you this guy can't play quarterback. I don't know why, as a fan base, we're so quick to go over the top. Were we always like that? Or did the collapse ruin us?
I don't know. I think we've always been an up and down fan base. But there are certain things that I need to get to. I don't know. Did we do this with I guess we did this with Andy Reid too. Yeah, after a while.
We did, and we did it to Donovan now that I'm thinking back.
Donovan all the time.
Yep.
All the time with Donovan.
Yeah, we definitely did
but
this.
But there's something about Hurts. I just think it's his stoicism. I don't think people like McNabb turned people off because he was goofy.
Yeah,
I think that Hurts turns people off because he's so serious. You know, you can't. It doesn't look like there's a person there.
Yeah, I just think it's also when you watch football. What are the two easiest things to be critical of? The head coach and the quarterback. You don't have to know anything about the game of football, and you could be watching a game, and if they don't look great in the first quarter, it's easy to say, well, the head coach didn't have him ready. Or if the quarterback misses a throw, I told you he stinks. I just think it's an easy, lazy argument.
All right, let's see as we go to the break. Let's hear from Jalen, his latest pearl of wisdom.
Momentum is an illusion in a sense because it can end and begin at any moment.
Yeah.
So just treating every player as his own.
It's an illusion. Here you go.
There it is.
Keep that in mind for when you're feeling good at work. Momentum is just an illusion. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Off $25 offer ends November 11th. 20% offer ends November 23rd.
Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Grungolaw.com, and we opened up this show, 10 o'clock hour, talking about that great Eagle victory and how bad the Cowboys are and how privileged you should be to have a franchise like this rather than that. And that hour is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows, plus make no down payments and no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Just call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, so I've asked the question, and I know a lot of people don't want to reveal this, but I'm really targeting it to the people who got so crazy on X yesterday on social media about Jalen Hurts in the early parts of the game. Oh, you're letting this team hang around. And I'm going, you can let this team hang around till the last 5 minutes of the game. It's not going to matter because they stink and they're not going to be able to score. But in any event, people can't wait to get on Jalen Hurts. And I'm just curious to know what it is. You know, listen, you're anonymous. You can give a fake name if you want. I just want to know what sets you off so early against the guy.
Yeah.
Just literally. I want to, it's like a psychological experiment today.
Well, you know, I'm following along on this YouTube chat. I'm actually been battling with a few of them in the chat because they're basically saying that Hurts still makes mistakes that rookies make and that he's too inconsistent. 215 Philly says he's mid at best. And I'm asking them to tell me, well, what other quarterback in the NFL doesn't ever make mistakes? You know, if you watched football yesterday, you're not perfect in every game, but you look at Jalen Hurts, and yes, all the guy does is win. He's been very consistent in the last 4 games. They've won 5 in a row. He didn't look good in that first half. We admit to that. Now, I don't know what it was. I know Dallas was throwing at him some different stunts. They were bringing some different things, but he was holding the ball too long. He took 5 sacks. It's unacceptable. But the guy bounced back. So I am trying to figure out what it is about Jalen that people are so over the top about.
But the reality is he's maddening to a certain segment and certain segments of the Eagle fan population. He really is. Because you don't allow any bad start. Like as soon as this a bad start happens, it's like, whew, here come the knives come out.
Yeah, so I'm getting they're coming back. The reason is because you're hyping him up for playing trash teams, is what 215 is saying.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But it's still it doesn't explain the impatience that you have, because over the last 5 games, his ratings have been what? He's averaged 115 quarterback rating.
He has. He has.
Yeah, that's pretty consistent.
Yeah, 5 games in a row with a quarterback rating over 115.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid.
It is very solid.
So, it's a really interesting phenomenon, and we'll get some various answers. Let's get to our text board, Ray. What are they saying on the text board right now about Hurts?
Andrew from Georgia. I would not say I am a hater. I think we most certainly can win with Hurts. Part of it is that he's not likable. He has a mope face, and he does not seem like he would be fun to have a beer with.
I got to be honest with you. It's the last criteria for me is having a beer with the quarterback. Could you have a beer with Randall Cunningham? He was a weirdo. Could you have a beer? Seriously, could you have a beer with McNabb? No, he was a goof. I don't know. What's the criteria? You could have a beer with him, and that makes him solid?
Would you want a beer with Holmes?
Hey, Ray.
Whatever how he talks.
Hey, Ray, you want a pint? It's funny. It's funny. People love. You can have a beer with Gardner Minshew. He can't play dead, but people love Gardner Minshew.
Minshew mania, man.
You hear about beer with that guy? What's wrong with you people?
How many successful Eagles quarterbacks over the years could you have a beer with?
The other guy with Josh McCown. I have a beer with Josh McCown. He stinks.
Also, the idea that they would want to have a beer with you. We always do this. I would love to, could I have a beer with that athlete? Would that athlete ever have an interest in having a beer with you?
Well, obviously not. but I guess I don't know.
Well, that just...
he's strange. There's no question. I can't sit here and say he can't win because he's strange.
Keep the main thing.
Yeah, that's weird. He's a weirdo. I think he's weird. I think he's almost robotic. I get it. That doesn't mean that I can't accept him as a quarterback for a winning football team.
One more for you. Unnamed texter here. Hurts turned over twice. The win makes us ignore that? Silly. So the hate is still there.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know.
Whatever, man. I'm just trying to get to the explanation for it. I want to know what triggers you so quickly. There's a lot to a game. I'm watching the game. It's starting off bad, but they're not going. This team stinks. They're not going to have any problem winning this game. And they won going away.
And Jalen did make some bad plays yesterday, but I do feel that if you're only going to focus on those plays, you're ignoring some of the really good plays. He threw a touchdown pass where there was a free blitzer coming. It was the linebacker for Dallas. And in the pocket, he sidesteps the blitzer and then throws a bullet for a touchdown. Not every quarterback can make that play. So
that
Jalen,
was where he shifted left.
Yes.
Away from the free blitzer.
Yeah, not everyone. If you're just a true pocket passer, you're going to probably take a sack.
That was a good play.
Which the armchair fan in that moment is yelling, "Get rid of it."
Yes.
They want that ball thrown away.
So I just think you have to realize what Jalen Hurts is. Yeah, he's not a true traditional pocket passer, but what he's able to do with his legs in the right moments, and he did it again yesterday.
Monster play.
Monster plays. He had that. What was it? A 24-yard run that he had in that game.
The 2 chunk plays. He hit AJ for a slant. He scrambled for 24, and the 14-yard pass to Goddard makes it 14-6. And at that point, it's over. Dallas was not going to score enough points at 14-6, and then the second series of the third quarter, the drive after Cooper DeJean makes a great return. You got to keep him back there, man.
I love him back there.
Got to keep him back there.
Well, remember, we had Westbrook on, and I asked him about that because he was the same way where he was really good, but they didn't use him. And he said he agrees not putting Cooper back there because he's too important on the defense. But, man, he can flip a game around.
But he's so important in that capacity, too. So take advantage of it. All right, let's go to Ish in Levittown. What's up, Ish?
Hey, guys, how are you?
How you doing, Ish?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Jalen Hurts point. But first, kudos to the team yesterday. They came through, and we won. And I'm not really afraid of Washington. I believe we can beat them. And Detroit showed yesterday that Jared Goff is not really – I'm not afraid of Detroit. So I believe we can beat both teams. But the Jalen Hurts points with the Eagles fans, as us as fans in general, we never really appreciated, like, McNabb or, like, they love Vic. But they never really appreciated McNabb or, like, Jalen. Like, Jalen Hurts is 43 and 26. Like, I know his attitude and, like, people want to be relatable to him, but some people aren't relatable. But as far as winning, like, we praised Kevin Cobb back then. I remember a few radio hosts praising Kevin Cobb for his mediocrity, and, you know, we don't appreciate our
yeah, you're right. You actually said something interesting. Vic was accepted more than McNabb was. And he's probably – so what is the difference between accepting Vic and not accepting 100% with Hurts? What is the difference? Because they both made dynamic plays.
Yeah, and I was going to bring race into it, but then when I thought about Vic, it's not –
people liked Vic. Yep, I agree with you.
Like Vic, yeah. I don't know how it is, but I believe, like, you know, we got a good team, and I hope people warm up to Jalen. He don't make the correct or right throws, but that's our quarterback. We got to support him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I got you. Vic, it's an interesting phenomenon with Vic. I think people appreciated the fact that he recovered from the trouble that he got involved in, and he became this almost stoic.
He was humbled.
He was humbled. He was a humble guy. I think people appreciated that and looked at him differently after that.
You know how many playoff games Vic won in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform?
None.
Yeah,
well, that tells you something. Like, why was he liked and Hurts isn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's a lot to do with the personality.
Not answering the question here, but did we just get a talking point from Ish?
We did, amazingly.
I think credit's due for Ish.
Pretty good.
He's had a tough week with this show.
Nice
he
job
did.
By Ish.
He had a tough week last week, but he's been all right. Ish has been all right.
No, I like Ish, but I just want to give him credit where credit's due. He had a tough week last week. It's a nice bounce back for him. Victory Monday for him, too.
It is crazy, though. I mean, even if fans are justified in the criticism, because they are justified with what Nick Sirianni did last week against the Jaguars, we're sitting here, Mike, with a 7-2 football team. First place in the NFC East. No real dominant team in the NFC that you would say they can't get past. And still, it's, beat a good team. Do it against a good team. I'm not, is this all because of what happened at the end of last season? I'm just trying to understand why we're focused so much on the negativity as opposed to looking at there is so much positive that you could take with this football team.
I think people are looking at the positive. I think that the Hurts phenomenon stands alone. I think people are positive right now about the Eagles.
Like Dawood on YouTube, because my point about how Vic never won a playoff game. What's your point, Bill? Hurts only had one great run. Are you kidding me? He took a team to a Super Bowl.
He's being sarcastic with you.
No, he is not, because he says one great run and then got bounced twice by Tampa. What's your point?
I can't believe that was being serious.
Speaking of Ish, every time Ish calls, I think of Dr. Seuss book.
What's that?
Ish carrying a dish. Ish has a wish.
One fish, two fish, three fish.
Exactly. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Monday, November 11th. Eagles.
Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopaybryant.com. Eagles with a win over the Cowboys in a game that I was stupid thinking that they would be close. I really did. Cooper Rush, I go, he's going to manage the game. They're probably going to hang in there. And once I saw him, he looked scared to death, fumbling that snap, and then he threw a ball into the ground on a flat pass that was open. I'm going, this guy wants to check out of here. He doesn't want any part of this game.
Yeah, he looked really bad. Really bad.
But anyway, the Eagles get another win. They now take the division lead because the Commanders lose in very interesting fashion. And that might be part of around the NFL coming up in just a little bit. And Al Michaels coming up at 12:15.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. And it's your birthday.
It's my birthday, and it's Veterans Day. So, it's a big day here.
Very big day.
All right. Let's go back to the text board. What we got on the text board before we get back to the phones, Ray? Anything interesting?
Yeah, another unnamed texter here. I love Jalen. I just can't stand his lack of emotions during big plays.
Yeah, see, there's always something. I really do think that his demeanor makes people stay on the outside. He has that demeanor where you can't get in, and I think people don't like that.
Yeah, I probably plays a part in it, but I mean we've seen other quarterbacks throughout the years not have the greatest of personalities, and yet fans love them because they win.
What quarterback has been like him though? Like robotic and stoic and kind of weird.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
Yeah, because when you think about a robot, you think about a machine. I keep thinking about the Patriots and the Patriot way, but Brady was different.
Yeah,
he showed emotion.
Exactly. He yelled at people, yelled at coaches. He did Uggs commercials.
But why should it matter?
Momentum
it shouldn't matter. I'm just trying to come up with some kind of psychological reason that people don't. They just want to. As soon as he does something wrong, they want to lash out.
But it's like
you got to try and be the coffee bean.
There was a mic'd up that got released last week where they score a touchdown and Lane Johnson says to Jalen, "You having fun?" And Jalen goes, "Not really." Did you see that?
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's little stuff like that, but I don't care, man. Just keep winning.
Yeah. In a way, he's too serious for the people to relate to. And listen, it is what it is. Let's go to Laura in Rockledge. Laura, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Laura.
Michael.
Hello,
Ray.
Laura.
Good morning. Michael, happy birthday, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
And to the veterans out there, with respect and gratitude, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
So I feel like Jalen maybe, and I'm just going to touch on this briefly, I feel like Jalen is maybe quoting things from TV shows he's watching. And I'm only saying that because this whole momentum thing, I just watched The Lincoln Lawyer Season 3 the other night, and I swear I heard that on The Lincoln Lawyer the other night. But anyway, just saying.
The Lincoln Lawyer movie or the Lincoln Lawyer series?
The series on Netflix. Yeah. So these Cowboys fans, I'm very perplexed here. Because I feel like they lie every single solitary time they claim to be Cowboys fans as to why. Because you mean to tell me that you didn't find somebody on the Eagles to look up to? So out of the other 31 teams in the NFL, you had to choose the Cowboys? That's got to be either there's an infiltrator in the circle, because how would you even be exposed to the Cowboys unless somebody else in your circle is watching them? Or you're just a defiant from the door, and you're just going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to like the Eagles, so I'm just going to pick the absolute.
They have national popularity, so you can glom onto that, or you can.
That national popularity, by the way, needs to go right out the window because.
It's pretty much over now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the national popularity started with their doggone cheerleaders. That's how they got their national popularity. Just saying.
I think that was part of it. I also think that they were on Thanksgiving all the time, and the America's Team phenomenon, and Tom Landry with the hat, and all that mystique that they had. And so when you're a young kid, you glom onto that because maybe your parents buy you footy pajamas or sheets that have a star on them, and then you grow up. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you grow up and you're 12 to 15, and you go, fandom is about, being with the team that represents my geographical area. It's like anything else. If there's a pro athlete from your hometown, you go, I like that pro athlete from my hometown. He represents my hometown. It's the same thing. Like, your country represents you in the Olympics. You're not rooting for Bulgaria.
I mean, look, it was front runner bandwagon jumpers when I was a kid. Like, I don't know if you get that as much. I wonder what the current age, like when I was in elementary school and middle school, being born in '83, the Cowboys were dominant. So there were a lot of people who were big Cowboys fans back then, and they were big Chicago Bulls fans because you had Michael Jordan. I would venture, now my kids are just starting to get into school age. My daughter's in 3rd grade. My son's in kindergarten. You don't see that. Like, there's not a lot of Cowboys fans as kids anymore. Like, when I was a kid, there were a ton of them because they were good. They're not good anymore. They're not relevant anymore. So I don't know if you're going to have 20 years from now, I don't know if we're going to be getting calls from local Cowboys fans.
No, you're right. Like, when I was a kid, there was no national team. Like, that was prior to this America's team mystique. And the Eagles were bad when I was growing up as a kid. When I was a wee lad, they stunk. But I couldn't get enough of them. I couldn't get enough of the green uniforms. And I remember playing in a football game, right? They had a running back named Timmy Brown, right? He was dynamic. Like, I always liked a dynamic player when I was a kid growing up. And so Timmy Brown was the guy who would get the kickoff and maybe have a chance to go 100 yards. So I made his number was 22. I made a 22 out of paper and cut it and taped it to my shirt, right? Because I was going to be playing tackle football, not knowing that the first play, the paper was going to rip off. Like, but
you made your own jersey.
But it was always the Eagles. And I didn't have any other rooting interest in football, and they stunk. They were a losing team. I go, why? These people go, the Eagles were bad, so I started to root for it. But that's not what the whole thing's about. It's about the team that represents where you live.
I agree. And Cowboys fans have been quiet, which is great.
All right. Stay quick break. 610-632-0975. Big stuff coming up. We got the news at noon, followed by Al Michaels, and around the NFL out of this break. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. show, and it is time to go around the NFL. We do this every Monday, and there it is.
Best music.
There's the music. These are the 5 things that stuck out to me over the Sunday of football. Let's start with number 1. Yeah. Well, what a finish to that Commanders-Steelers game, eh? And how about that Russell Wilson resurgence? Here's the scenario. Washington has a 24-14 lead in this game, but the relentless Steelers, they fight back. It's now 27-21, about 2.5 minutes left. Now, Mike Williams was acquired by the Steelers from the Jets just this week, and he probably knows just one play, and here it is.
3rd and long. Wilson floats it way upstairs. Williams, he's got it. Touchdown.
Go to the end zone, Mike. That's the play. It was a great play. And then the Steelers had an amazing TD catch earlier in the game from George Pickens. But even after the Williams play, the Commanders still had a chance. Jaden Daniels, 4th and 9 at midfield, needs to convert as they kind of drive for a game-winning field goal. And here's what happened.
11 of 11. Daniels on 4th and 9, delivers it. Wow, it's really close.
It was close, and it was Zach Ertz. Zach, get to the sticks. He didn't get to the sticks. He fell kind of like backwards. And that was the sayonara. No first down. 4th straight win for the Steelers, so look out for them in a few weeks. But the Commanders are up next, and they're coming off a loss. All right, number 2. Come on now with the Chiefs. All right, now this is getting ridiculous. They just can't lose. And Andy Reid, I'm watching him. He's doing Fumba-de-Ruski commercials. Like the whole world's backwards with this thing. They can't lose. And Andy Reid turned into like some kind of a celebrity, commercial celebrity. The Denver Broncos had the Chiefs in their sights. Now, the Broncos are down 16-14. They forge a final drive. They get to the Kansas City 18. And here comes Will Lutz with a chip shot 35-yarder to win it.
Will Lutz backs up, takes 2 steps to the side, says he's ready. An attempt of 35 yards for the win. Snap, placement, kick on the way. It is blocked. I don't even know what to say.
The Denver broadcast, obviously.
I really am at a loss for words. 35-yard field goal blocked with 1 second to go, and Kansas City is going to get out of here with a 16-14 win over the Broncos.
Hearts broken in Broncos country, no doubt. Broncos had it all set up for a chip shot field goal.
Now that is what depression sounds like right there. Okay, the Chiefs are now only the 5th NFL team ever to win a Super Bowl the year before, and then their first 9 games of the next season. And it's their best start in franchise history. This will get ridiculous. How the rich get richer. All right, number 3. How in hell did the Saints get off the mat and beat the Falcons? Especially when Atlanta rolls up 468 total offensive yards. Well, it was a big interception Kirk Cousins threw with 2:07 left, and the Falcons driving to take the lead. Here it is.
Cousins, tight window, picked off. Tyrann Mathieu.
Yep, Tyrann Mathieu makes the interception there. Derek Carr, undaunted by the social media abuse of Michael Thomas, threw for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Saints, including this play to another guy who just got to New Orleans.
First down call here, play action. Carr, deep ball, MVS again. It's another connection. He steps out inside the 5.
Yeah, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, new player, gets a touchdown, big moment, and the Saints win. Nobody expected that. All right, number 4. Well, you know, the Buccaneers are probably much better than a 6-loss team, but they got number 6 in heartbreaking fashion Sunday, losing to the 49ers. The hero was 49ers kicker Jake Moody, who nailed a game-winning 44-yard field goal after he had missed 3 previous field goals in the game and caused a huff on the sidelines as Deebo Samuel wanted to slap him upside the head, and then he shoved long snapper Tabor Pepper on the sidelines because of it. But a highlight play of this game was from Baker Mayfield, who completed an insane pass, scrambling and warding off Nick Bosa.
He stinks.
They send pressure. Mayfield evades. In trouble. Stiff arm. Throws. Oh, it's caught! How did he do it at the first down? One of the best plays I've seen all year.
That's one of the best plays I've ever seen a quarterback make.
Yeah. After the game, Bosa was wearing a red hat that said, make pass rushing great again.
Is that what he was wearing?
No.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Are you serious, Clark?
No, that's not what he was wearing. All right. And finally, number 5, the Lions. They kind of have that Chiefs charm right now. Jared Goff throws 5, count them, 5 interceptions on Sunday Night Football, and yet the Lions still prevail. They beat the Houston Texans 26-23 after trailing for much of that game. The Lions are now 8-1, their best start since 1873. No, that's an exaggeration. 1954, actually. Detroit was down 23-7 at halftime, and then they scored 16 straight points to tie it. They got a final drive to set up Bates. All right, let's hear the kicker sound. I normally don't do this, but let's hear the game winner.
52 for the win. It is just good.
It's a good thing they didn't put an extra coat of paint on these uprights. Because we have seen them slide by all night long one more time.
Jake Bates gets the game winner. And after the game, this is what Bates says, Bill. I just don't deserve this. I was a soccer player. I idolize football players in the NFL. And just to be here is surreal. You're right about that, Jake. You don't count. I rest my case about kickers, and that is around the NFL for today. That guy knows his place.
Yeah, but Houston let him off the hook, man.
Yeah, they did.
C.J. Stroud looked terrible in that second half. You saw that one, the receivers going for the flag. He's wide open, and Stroud just holds it, and then lofts it, and lets the Lions player intercept. It was just a bad half of football from C.J. Stroud.
You just hate when the Lions win.
I do.
You do. You just hate that Lions team. You hate the head coach. I just don't get it.
I don't know what it is.
He's a muscle dude, macho football guy, just like you.
I just don't think he's that great.
Do you hate your own kind?
I just don't think he's that great of a coach. I think he's getting overhyped. We'll see what happens when his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator most likely get head coaching jobs next season. We'll see how he adjusts. Because all the haters here who wanted to fire Sirianni,
dude, give it up.
When he lost his coordinators, we'll see.
Give it up.
We'll see what happens.
So much good.
All right, let's just recap what happened with the Eagles game yesterday. Here was the sequence. So Cooper Rush fumbles on the first drive. The Eagles score 4 plays later on a tush push, 7-0. Dallas then drives after a pretty good return by Turpin, and they get to the Eagles 28, but they have to settle for a field goal, 7-3. And Hurts gets intercepted in the end zone by Diggs. So now it's the second quarter. Dallas driving in to score, and I can't believe this guy's still in the NFL. Zeke Elliott gets to carry and fumbles into the end zone. Cooper G and gets it touchback.
Terrible.
Right. And Hurts fumbles on the next possession after a Parsons sack. Recovered at the Eagles 6. Dallas doesn't get a touchdown out of it. They don't move an inch. They get a field goal, 7-6. Right before half, here's the kick. 7 plays, 84 yards. The big slant to A.J. for 35. Hurts scrambles for 24 more. That's a big gulp of yardage there. That's 59 yards on 2 plays. And then the 14-yard pass to Goddard for a TD, 14-6. And then the second series of the third quarter, touchdown makes it 21-6. Drive started at the Dallas 37 after a 31-yard return by Cooper DeJean. Pass to Johnny Wilson. I got to give the credit. He made credit. He made a nice move in the end zone, get him free. And now it's 28-6, and I'm kind of tuned out. I'm changing channels.
Yeah, it was crazy the way it worked out.
Because here's Dallas's next possessions: fumble, interception, punt. That was it.
We shouldn't have been surprised coming in because you looked at the red zone for the Cowboys. They had the 32nd ranked red zone defense. They let the Eagles go 4 or 5. The only time they stopped them was that Hurts interception. And then their offense was 31st in the NFL in the red zone. Eagles were a top 6 red zone defense. They held them to 0 for 2. They forced that fumble on Elliott. There was another turnover they had, right, in the red zone, you said? The Cowboys, were those 2 turnovers in the red zone for the Cowboys?
Fumble? Interception in the red zone?
Yeah, I think they had 2 inside the 10.
Fumble, interception, red zone.
But that's something, as bad as the Cowboys have been, and people want to just dismiss it, something the Eagles' defense has been phenomenal with. Coming into the game, they were a top 6 red zone defense, and I'm curious to see after tonight's game where they rank holding the Cowboys 0 for 2. That is right up what Fangio wants to do. They don't mind giving up yardage, even though they haven't given up a lot of it lately either. But if you could hold teams to field goals in the red zone, you're going to win a lot of games in the NFL.
All right, since we just did around the NFL, there's a come on, man moment that I wanted to play for the people. Ray, we have the New Orleans Saints new coach, the interim coach who succeeded Dennis Allen, addressed the media afterwards. The Saints won. He was all this just is too much information as far as I'm concerned. But we'll see how the people feel about this.
No, man, I'm a pretty open guy, so this is how my day started. I get down here to the stadium, I get down here to Superdome, I go in the head coach's locker room, which, I've never used before, right? So here I am early in the morning, I go to the bathroom, and this is how my day started. I clogged the toilet. And I'm like, this is going to be a crappy day, pun intended. And so, listen, I'm like, okay, this is not really a great start to the day. Here we go. And so, I'm not really feeling like a head coach of an NFL team right now. So,
that's enough. Well, are you kidding me? Seriously, this is an adult man, right? And he thinks that's like there was such nervous laughter in the room when he said that. Like, what in the world? Why on earth would you say something like that? Talk about the first thing you bring up is a bowel movement that clogs the toilet? When do we live? Do we have a civilized society anymore, for crying out loud? Is that funny to you?
No, it's not. And he's a Jersey guy. This guy, he went to Bergen Catholic, but he's been a special teams coordinator everywhere he's been. He was a special teams coordinator at New Haven, Northeastern, Rutgers, Rhode Island, Miami. Special teams guys are a little bit different sometimes, Mike. They're a little bit different. And Darren Rizzi.
This is like a golf course thing with your buddies. Oh man, I just got out of the bathroom.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be a rough round.
It's not a head coach addressing the media
after his first win. What happened? I saw something too on the field. Did he get hurt or something in the celebration? Did anybody else see that? He like fell and he was being held up by players. I don't know what happened to him. Something happened, and maybe someone on the YouTube chat knows what I'm talking about.
He's enjoying his 15 minutes.
What is wrong with that guy?
He's a special teams guy.
The toilet?
You could see our buddy Jim Harbaugh saying something like that.
No, you can't.
You don't think Harbaugh would say something like that, right?
No, nobody would say something like that.
I don't know. I think Harbaugh would. I think
Harbaugh's got more class than that.
I think
Talk about John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh? Oh, Jim.
John wouldn't.
No, I don't even.
Jim would.
I don't even think Jim would.
He said some weird stuff.
All right.
Hold on. I just got this though. This is coming from Ryan Field. Tweeted at me and said, "Add this to your arsenal, Bill." You ready for this? Goes along the lines of what I was saying about Dan Campbell. We'll see what he does with 2 new coordinators. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni has led the team to a 7-2 or better start 3 years in a row, with a different OC and DC in each of those seasons.
Where's the stat where the coach lost 6 of the last 7?
Despite
doing that.
We're not going to look at the negative.
Let's balance it out. Let's go to Tony in West Philly. Tony, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tony.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
What's up, Tony?
How y'all doing? Before I get into my Jalen Hurts point, I just want to speak on the quarterback thing. Now, remember, Mike, you've been here long enough. McNabb was looked at as the company guy, and it's always we're going to get better next week, and he's like the company guy. It's like talking to Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. Then it was Carson Wentz, where he's too much of a Christian, and everything is about Jesus, and he made everything about his faith and all that. So,
certain quarterbacks aren't Philly guys. We like guys that wear their emotions on their sleeves. You know, like Randall was cool. You know, Randall had Whitney Houston, you know, coming to the games. And, you know, Randall just was, you know, it's just Jalen Hurts is not our type of, with some people's not, he's not our cup of tea. I mean, he's a Southern guy, very, very strong in his faith. He's humble, and that's not flaring enough for Philadelphia. But, you know, but he's a great guy. Same with Carson Wentz. I didn't have a problem with Carson Wentz, but for some people in the city, they're not flaring enough. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Listen, Randall was weird, but he was weird to the point where we laughed at it. Like, he was so absurd. You know, he had the Michael Jackson bedroom in his house. Like Michael was going to show up. And you're right. The Whitney Houston connection. He had the cake with the plan in it. He had the gold tip shoelaces. He wore "Let Me Be Me" on his hat. He wore the coat on the sidelines backwards.
Yep. Hey, Mike, let me say this though. That point you made about the guy with the bowel movement, Buddy would have said something like that.
Buddy
would have said something like
I don't know if Buddy even would have gone. I mean, that's gross. It's like that's a gross thing to say.
It is, but Buddy said a lot of stuff, Mike. Like we got to remember, Buddy, he had no filter. Buddy say
no, I agree with that, but I don't know if he would bring up a bowel movement. You know, I mean, come on.
I don't think maybe in lighthearted laughter he probably would have said something jokingly, but not, you know.
I remember he said about the pork chop that Mike Dick got choked on, but he never brought up a bowel movement.
Right quick, let me give you my I think Jalen Hurts is, and us, we're a victim of his success. Like I think we're him and us as a fan base. That Super Bowl year, sort of like kind of Carson Wentz. I think he was a winner-up MVP, and I think he set the expectations so high. And last year was so bad. His regression was so bad. It's like and it's still fresh in our minds when we see him turn the ball over or start off slow. It's still fresh in our mind how bad he was last year with the 14 or 15 interceptions. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I you're probably on to something there. Now he's got me thinking about Randall. You two guys were too young. Like that, Randall was a lifeblood for talk radio. I mean, it was a gift from God that he gave talk radio in this town.
Yeah, see, I only vaguely remember.
I mean, he would do stuff like he wore the hat, "Let me be me," and then he tried to explain it. He goes, "You know, it's not let me be me; it's let me be me." And I'm going, "What the hell are you even talking about?" It was went on all the time. Gold dip shoelaces. He had gold shoelace tips.
I like it. Well, you dip your glasses in gold, don't you?
No, I don't dip my glasses in gold. And then his wedding, he had a tree growing out of the cake, a shrub. It was like he had a Whitney Houston room in his house and a Michael Jackson room. If in case they stopped by, that was their room.
I think he lived. Didn't he live over in Cherry Hill?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was over there.
All right, let's go. Let's take a break because we have the news at noon coming up. It's a big 12 o'clock hour. Al Michaels will join us at 12:15. So don't go away. This is a big hour coming up on the Mike Missanelli Show. of the Mike Missanelli Show, the noon hour, brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. 0% financing right now for 72 months, $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
News at noon compiled by Ray Dunn. Let's get it, Ray.
All right, let's get into it. I am a sucker for a good sports talk radio called a rant, and we're not going to have much of that right now, winning 5 in a row. No Sirianni boneheaded decisions yesterday. All the people that are upset with Hurts in the first half are going to be very quiet and hidden. So I went and found one from Chicago today. They are ready.
Nice.
They have got the knives out for Eberflus. It is fantastic. Here is the postgame from yesterday, 670 the score out there in Chicago.
On the Northwest side, Bill, welcome to the score. How are you?
I'm pissed off. That's how I'm doing. I mean, what we saw today was a disgrace. I am very happy, and I want to disagree with Olin 100%. I am glad the Bears players came out and said that the coaches were incompetent. I mean, for Matt Eberflus to come back after the Washington game and say that the second play before the play before the Hail Mary had nothing to do with them losing is BS. That's number one. Okay? And then come out today again against the team and get slaughtered at home. Now you're facing the Packers, Minnesota, and Detroit back-to-back weeks. And you expect this, and tomorrow morning, he's going to go and meet the Bears media, and he's going to say we had a meeting, and everything is great, and we're all on the same page. Well, what page are they on? He's full of crap. He should be fired right this minute. And what he did to Caleb Williams again today, under 2 minutes, losing by 16 points, and he's getting the crap kicked out of him. And he leaves him in the game to get his head bashed in. I hope Caleb Williams' father tonight, I hope he tweets something so bad that it gets Matt Eberflus fired.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate the phone call.
Appreciate the phone call. The Bears.
Oh, man.
You're right there, guys. They're back. I can't believe they're back. Chicago accent kills me.
But Eberflus, he hasn't been a good coach. They're 14-29 under him.
Flus or Foos? Floos.
Eberflus.
Eberflus.
Right? Is it going to matter?
Whatever it is, he's getting flushed at the end of the season.
Eber fired. It's going to be over for him pretty soon. Seems like it, at least.
All right, number two.
Keeping with the head coach theme here, we got video over the weekend surfaced of Deion Sanders going back and forth with the referee. If you didn't catch the Colorado game, they crushed Texas Tech. Texas Tech, the fans, throwing things onto the field. So, naturally, Sanders wants, hey, referees, can we get some sort of control here? Take a close listen here. The referee is going to tell him that his players should stop blowing kisses to the crowd.
That's football! That's football!
I appreciate him censoring himself so we could play it. But the referee, while things are being thrown to their sideline, goes to Deion Sanders, says, tell your players to stop blowing kisses to the crowd. Who's on the right side here?
Well, that's an interesting little situation there because the blowing kisses to the crowd is really inciting them to throw more stuff on, right?
Yes.
The referee is just trying to quell the game here. I don't know.
I don't know, but a little off topic, but I was just telling Mike at the break, Rex Ryan is calling for Deion Sanders to be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
That could happen. That really could happen.
That could be a Jerry Jones move.
Yeah. It could be. It's Mad Libs of a sentence, though.
Colorado got back. You know, they're actually having a decent season after starting off pretty poorly. So
Rex Ryan angling for that defensive coordinator job if Deion Sanders takes it.
Maybe he is. Do you have experience with Deion?
I don't know. It's a good point.
Well, listen, to me, everything he does on ESPN, I'll take the Mike line here, with all due respect, is all lined up for him to get himself back into coaching.
Yeah. Are those real teeth Rex Ryan's got?
Are they what?
You ever see those big chompers he's got?
Nobody has real teeth anymore. Who has real teeth? Everybody on TV has fake teeth.
Those things are bright.
All right.
You ever remember Dennis the Menace when
Real
Walter
teeth.
Matthau's got the chiclets in his front teeth? That's what he looks like.
No, I don't remember Dennis the Menace. With
Oh, it's
Walter
a great
Matthau.
movie.
Oh, my God. Your movie tastes are
Great
so-
movie.
All right, what's next,
All right.
Ray? Dennis the Menace with Walter Matthau.
Mr.
What the
Wilson.
hell? All right, go ahead.
Last thing here. We started with head coaches that are going to get fired. We'll end it with head coaches that are going to get fired. Doug Pederson. They have hit the experience where he's just going to get snarky with everyone and get upset because his team stinks. Here's Pederson post-game being asked about the last interception.
What was the play? What was supposed to happen on the final Mac interception if he didn't get hit and throw the pick?
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the details of the play because you guys wouldn't figure it out, but we'll look at the tape tomorrow and we'll make those corrections.
You guys wouldn't figure it out. It's not worth my time to explain it to you.
Speaks of Mr. Genius, of course, himself.
They're
Like we
living,
need to figure him out.
they're living the entire timeline just in a shortened time where they had to go with, I thought he was going to make this quarterback better. That Press Taylor guy doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing, and now he's getting super condescending. The end is near down there
What
in
happens
Jacksonville.
to Doug Pederson for the rest of his life?
He may get on somebody's staff.
So, can he take a quarterback coaching job?
That's what I think.
After being a head coach at two places.
Well, you know who will bring him back.
Andy?
Andy, yeah. Andy will put him on the staff.
Probably will. All right, that's the news at noon today. Let's get some phone calls in here. Keith in West Oak Lane. What's up, Keith?
Mike, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Long time. Happy birthday to you, brother. I'm so glad that you back on the air, Mike.
Thank you, man. Good to hear from you after a long time.
Long time, man. You talking about that Buddy Ryan and Randall Cunningham Eagles is what was the engine that started sports talk in this town. People may not realize that.
He was a gift. He was a gift.
Hey, look, Mike, real quick, man. First of all, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans, fellow veterans. Listen, you are one of the few people that's got the courage to ask the question, what is it with the reaction to Jalen? Mm-hmm. You're one of the few, Mike, and I'm going to be straight up about this. See, first of all, I, too, want to throw pillows or whatever at the wall when he throws an interception or doesn't throw the ball away and get rid of it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm there with most of the fan base. I want him to get rid of the ball, too. But, see, I still want Jalen to succeed, though. Many people in this town are still butthurt that Jalen took over for Carson Wentz. And they, no matter what Jalen does, they don't want him to succeed. They don't mind if the Eagles win.
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. I don't. Nobody had loyalty to Carson Wentz after it fell apart for him. Like that love was short-lived for him.
Honestly, what I'm saying, Mike, is this here, and this is my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen could go and win the Super Bowl this year, right? And because people's first impressions on him, the GQ look, right, the way he carries himself, a lot of people don't relate to that. I love it. I think he's an upstanding young man. But, if he took a couple cans of beers and smashed it on his head, maybe more people would like him.
No, Keith, you opened it. We're going to talk about this a little later in the show because I think what you're saying is like, we have to discuss it because it sometimes does come down to racial lines.
It does, and it's cultural racial lines, man.
No, I hear you. It's happened in the past in this town, but like there've been a lot of black quarterbacks in this town. It wasn't a race issue with McNabb. It was a goof issue. It wasn't a race issue with Randall because he was loved for a point. He was just eccentric. And then you went to Michael Vick, who wasn't disliked.
Yeah, he was loved.
Yeah, so I mean it's an interesting conversation. But right now we have a big gap on this show. Now people ask me all the time, who are some of the legendary people that you've had on your shows over the years? Well, this guy is one of them. He is a true broadcasting legend, still doing it, and he'll be in town in the next couple of days because Thursday Night Football on Amazon, the Eagles and Commanders, a monster game. He, of course, is the great Al Michaels. Hello, Al.
Mike, how are you? What are you doing working on your birthday, number one?
Oh, in this business, Al, you just keep going.
I thought it was a national holiday.
It is. It is a national holiday, but I'm not so sure it's for me. But good to talk to you. How you doing?
Fine, all good. I'm really looking forward to this game because it's the third year of the Amazon package, and we've had some pretty good games in the past, but I think this is right at the top of the list right now. The way things have shaken out with the battle for the top spot in the NFC East, so I'm really looking forward to it. We don't get to Philadelphia very often because we were there last year, I think, for the Minnesota game, and the year before we had Philly and Houston. So it's only the second time we've been to the Link in the Amazon package. So I'm really looking forward to it. Always love coming in there, and it should be one hell of a game.
Well, let's look at this game because you saw what the Eagles did on Sunday against a really hapless team right now, the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Commanders lose a heartbreaker. So as the dynamic comes into this game on Thursday, how do you see it?
Well, I mean, Philadelphia on a roll right now, obviously, and, you guys talk about it every day and know exactly what's going on there. So you start out 2-2, and everybody is crazy, and they want to get rid of the coach, and they want to get rid of everybody. And now all of a sudden, it's like John Madden, who I worked with for 7 years, and John would always say, the greatest deodorant is winning. And so the Eagles have done that right now, and at 7-2, everybody's pretty happy, I would assume, even though nobody's totally happy in any town. These days, everybody finds something.
Well, especially here.
Of course, to complain about. But you know what? A lot of towns, Mike, are like that. I know Philadelphia has that reputation of being, they are the worst or the loudest or the most upset, blah, 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 blah. I don't buy that necessarily. We get to a lot of towns, and they're kind of the same way. When the team is going south, people are starting to say, what's going on? We got to fire the coach. We have to fire the GM. I mean, look, is it any worse in Philadelphia when things are bad than it is with Jets Nation right now? Nothing could be really worse than that. You bring in Rodgers, you think you have the best team, you fire the coach. Now you look at that team right now, and they're probably, the way it looks right now, dead in the water. So it's not just Philadelphia. And even in New England now, with all of the success that they've had, that's all you're hearing about, how terrible things are. Well, wait a second. You've had 2 decades of dominance. So it's almost like it's in the past, so it's not now, so we have to complain like crazy about it. But anyway, back to this game. I mean, Washington is one of the big surprises, obviously. I think they won, 4 games last year, cleaned house, brought Dan Quinn in. It turned out to be a good hire. Brought Adam Pederson as the GM. Obviously, they selected what appears to be the right guy as quarterback, so he can go down the line in the future. And I like that team a lot. And yesterday they had every opportunity to win the game, but that's so NFL, and that's why we love the NFL, Mike. Because you get games like that look like they're going to go one way, then another way, then they go back to the way they were going to be, and then it ends like that. And of all things, you've got a guy jumping offside at the end. Who knows if they would have won the game? If not, you just don't know. But I say that this is exactly why we love the NFL, because it's crazy, it's dramatic. You have these wild endings, and that's what people talk about the next day.
Well, Al, I'm going to try to get an outsider's opinion of this crazy mindset in Philadelphia, because what we saw in the first part of the game yesterday against Dallas was that Jalen Hurts got off to a bad start. And people just come flying at him. Now, the 2 most important entities coming into this season were the head coach, who had lost 6 of his last 7 games, and we didn't know whether he was going to be back, but they brought him back, and the quarterback. Both were judged harshly. And they're still being judged harshly. The Eagles are 7-2 now, and both of these gentlemen are being judged harshly in this town. Can you explain that as somebody who's not within Philadelphia but outside, looking in?
Well, I think there are probably a lot of folks there who want to live up to their reputation, right? Who, hey, we're Philadelphia, so we have to really be constantly pissed off. So we're going to complain like crazy. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. But, I mean, to me, Mike, I mean, there's such this. We have 330 million people in this country. And if 10 people are on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok ripping somebody, it's not a groundswell. It's like people who just want to be heard. They have access to the Internet. I mean, years ago, I think what it amounted to is that people didn't have this kind of access. You didn't have the Internet. You didn't have talk radio. the way it is right now, the way it's burgeoned, in the 21st century. So I think there are more outlets for people to moan and groan and bitch about things than there used to be. So I go back to...
But this also goes, like national pundits, let's just take Sirianni, who got off to a rocky start with jawing with the fans and, the whole bit, and people were, this guy again, and is he worthy, and blah, 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 and national people were taking him apart as an inadequate coach. Is that just hot take, this is where we come, or is there any legitimacy to that?
Of course it's a hot take. I see pundits, whatever you want to call them, who haven't been in the locker room, have no access to a team. Look, when you have access to a team, when you're inside, those are the people I pay attention to. They are there. They are there. But you see these shows now where people are just screaming at each other just to scream at each other. I was told, many years ago that, I guess it was at ESPN, somebody said to me, okay, we have to debate whether Marino was a better quarterback than Elway. And one guy said, well, I think Elway was the better quarterback. And the other guy said, oh, well, I think Elway's the better quarterback. And then the producer says, oh, no. One guy's got to take Marino. So in other words, this is not real stuff. This is like, it's what I call junk talk. So you go back and forth, and you really don't go anywhere. And when I have to listen to people who are not close to teams, who just see things from the outside, who are basing it on what they read and what some of the analytics have to say about it, I'm going, excuse me, I got better things to do with my life.
On that note, Al, this is great that you led me into this, because you have always been the real guy, right? And the industry has shifted another way. And there have been times when you've been criticized for not being excited enough or whatever. You've been consistently stoic because that's what you are. So, what is your reaction? And I remember you saying, well, what do you want me to do, yell? That's not you. What's your reaction to all that comes out? Like, when you have to be this guy or that guy?
Well, I've done the NFL for 39 years. I've been in the business for 55 years. It's been a pretty good run for me. So apparently, I must appeal to enough people to have been able to sustain and keep a job doing the NFL, which is the creme de la creme. Look, there are a number of people, I get it, who want you to scream and yell and be guttural and holler. That ain't me. It's not me. It's not Jim Nantz. It's not Joe Buck. It's not the guys who've been at the top all of these years. Because if you did, they wouldn't be there very long. So, look, when I was younger, and I got very excited about certain things because you get into the business, and that was probably the way to do it. But, Mike, it's television. People can see it. You don't have to scream and yell and say what they are seeing. It's a visual medium. So to me, I've always believed in less is more. You need ellipses and captions sometimes suffice. And some of the calls that I think I'm proudest of, I didn't yell or scream. I just set it up for you. It happened. Might have a coda that I can attach to the end of it and let it go. And I know Joe and Jim, and we've talked about this, they're the same way. And there's a reason that those guys have been around for like 20 years. Joe and Jim and I have done almost all Super Bowls in the 21st century. Got Kevin Burkhart's in there. I think Kevin is really great, does a terrific job on Fox. He's kind of the same way. We don't yell the game at you. We just don't. That's the way it is. And a lot of, what they're looking for right now is for YouTube to go, oh, did you hear the way this guy called the game? And you see, college games for, junior colleges in Kansas, and the guy goes out of his mind, and everybody says, oh, that's fun, that's great. But, if you did that on national television, you'd be looking for a job next week.
Yeah, I gotcha. Here's another thing that I love about
Tell me what you think about it.
No, I totally agree with you. I've always been a fan of your pace more than anybody else. And, I'm an older school guy, I guess. But, no, I totally get it. You have to be yourself. And listen, you had such a background. Like, you did baseball. And so you had developed a pace, more of a calm pace. It's part of you as a broadcaster. So I totally admire that. And I also admire the fact that you're honest. And, if it's a bad game, You'll say it's a bad game on a Thursday night. If it's a bad official's call, right, can we play? I love this about you. You were not afraid to rip the officials in a blatant, because everybody's thinking the same thing. And here was you.
Too many games end this way. They just do. Yep. You miss calls, the whole thing. It's so frustrating to the fans. So frustrating.
This is what people are thinking. You're frustrated. You don't want to see games end like that where the officials have that kind of sway. Right? I mean, you're just being honest with it. And I think that connects.
I think that's what the fans are thinking. Look, I love the game. I love the NFL. I love football. And I'm as frustrated as any fan is when we have a game that ends that way, a fantastic game in Baltimore the other night. And now you're going for a 2-point conversion, and it's unsuccessful, and you have 2 replays, 2 that are obvious fouls that could have been called. And Terry McCauley even comes in, who refed in 3 Super Bowls, and is our officiating guy, and he's back in Stamford, Connecticut, but he's got 15 different angles of every play. He's in touch with New York when it comes to the replay process. Even he said it could have been called. It should have been called. We see this a lot. Look, as far as the officials are concerned, I think on balance they really do a terrific job because it's a very hard game to officiate. And every fan should have the opportunity to watch a game from the sideline, from outside like the 40, and watch all of these gigantic bodies going this way and that way and back and forth, and you tell me that you could call every penalty. First of all, as we know, there's probably a penalty on every play. But where do you go? What do you call? What don't you call? And you get to the end of the game, and the officials know, hey, kind of let it go if you can. You don't want to ruin it unless it's egregious. So you miss a couple of calls, but still, and here's the thing, though, Mike. I wish I had the answer. I wish I knew somebody who had the answer to this. I don't know what the answer is. This will continue to happen. It is a very, very difficult game to officiate. Probably the hardest. So on one hand, we're frustrated. On the other hand, I get what's happening. And when somebody can come up with the answer to this thing, call me collect.
All right. So, Al, you're coming into Philly when the weather's kind of warm. I know you have affection for Philadelphia golf. In fact, my partner Bill's wearing a Marion pullover today. Are you going to be tempted to get out to Marion?
No, I wish I could, but these days, between our meetings and everything else that's going on and just preparing for the game, if you want to go play golf when you're in a town, it's a 6-hour thing. An hour beforehand, 4 hours of golf, and whatever. I don't have the time. I wish I did.
November and the weather's nice, Al.
I understand.
Maybe 9 holes.
No, I can't. You know what? Because it's just it's one of the great things that I used to do there is when Tim McCarver, I loved him, was my partner on baseball for many years, and Timmy lived there. And I played Marion 2 or 3 times with McCarver. This was back in when we were doing Monday Night Baseball, and I had a blast. And I'll never forget, the overhead showers there are the greatest of all time.
Oh, the water pressure's phenomenal.
Number one, off the charts.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Al, listen, it's always a pleasure, and we'll look forward to Thursday night. You coming and giving the Philly team a little love here, but you got a good quarterback matchup with Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels. So
going to be terrific. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Al.
Take care,
he is, the great Al Michaels joining us.
A legend.
He's a legend.
He is a legend. I was born in '83, so 3 years after the 1980 Olympics, but I grew up playing hockey. I must have heard that call. Do you believe in miracles? 1,000 times.
That's the call that everybody's going to remember for time immemorial. But
incredible.
His resume in broadcasting is just so deep. He's 78 years old, still doing this. And
well, one day, do you think we'll talk about Ray Dunn with the same words we talked about Al Michaels?
We might. I won't be around. I'll be looking down
with a smile.
Ray, following, behind Al Michaels' legacy.
Al Michaels took time out of his busy schedule to join us, and you had to put my name next to his.
When Ray Dunn says, "Do you believe in miracles?" when the United States breakdancing team wins the gold.
When Ray's doing Super Bowl 85, people are going to say, this guy was wasted on Temple Women's soccer?
Stop it.
610-632-09.
I enjoy my time with all the sports I do.
7-5 is how you get in. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. Show 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let's touch on it because the subject of race always comes up when we're talking about a black quarterback and why he's not universally accepted. I don't think that's the case in Philadelphia. We've had probably more black quarterback. Well, I'm talking about way back in the day. Like we started out with Randall.
Yeah.
And then it went Rodney Pete, and then Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick, and now Jalen Hurts. We're talking about 5 black quarterbacks. I don't think that's the thing that turns people off with quarterbacks. I don't think it's right. I think maybe in other cities it might be. I don't think in Philadelphia we have more experience with that than other cities have. I just think it's personality. There's something about the personality. Like when we looked at Donovan McNabb, we weren't judging him harshly because he was a black quarterback. We were judging him harshly because he was a kind of a goofball,
a little corny,
and he was maddening in that he would throw a lot of balls in the dirt, and that's what we looked at with him. And he always, we didn't like it that he always harped on the fact that he got booed at the draft. Like he could never let that go, and it was like, dude, it was 30 idiots who went up there and booed at the draft because they wanted Ricky Williams. That should not be personal to you. Now, to him, it was. To his family, it was. But they always milked that thing. With Randall was loved.
Yeah, and then your point, Vic
he was just odd. And then when he didn't perform to the level, it was a shame he got hurt on that one year. That was the year that everything was supposed to click. But he was loved. He wasn't judged because he was a black quarterback.
No, and I think you're right. In other cities, certainly the racial bias towards quarterback
Michael Vick
exists.
was loved,
but not here. But I don't think it's because of Hurts' personality, because I think a majority of fans wouldn't care what your quarterback's personality was if you're winning games, if you're winning championships.
I agree with that, and he's got a chance. He could do that. He could win everybody over by just winning.
See, I really think, and I said this earlier in the show, people don't like to admit they were wrong. And there were a lot of people, when the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round, and you already had Carson Wentz, who thought it was a terrible pick, and also thought that Jalen Hurts would never be a quarterback at the NFL level.
Yeah.
And then he comes out in 2021, they win some games because they ran the football. And it was still, he's not the franchise quarterback. He can't carry a team. And then he has that great year in 2022. And it was an outlier. It was an outlier. Look at all the weapons he has around him. How many times have you heard that? Jalen has so many weapons. He couldn't do this. Put anybody on that team, and they would have success. And then he has a little bit of a down year last year because of turnovers. And fans are, see, I told you it was just a one-year thing with him. I think people just don't want to be wrong. I don't think it has to do with race. I don't think it has to do with his personality. I don't think people want to admit maybe they were wrong.
I think when you don't connect with somebody's personality, you probably judge them harsher than you should. So he's a stoic. And it's like, who is this guy? We don't really know him. I think here in Philadelphia we like to know our athletes, right? And Jalen kind of like puts a force field around him, and that's fine. That's the way that's him. But I think that makes people judge him a little more harshly.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. If his personality was different, maybe fans would be less critical. But for us as Philadelphia fans, it doesn't matter if you're performing on the field, usually. Because did Chase Utley have a great personality?
No.
People loved him.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain that one.
I mean, he had a pretty
he was
terrible personality.
He was gritty, which is what they liked. Like he was the guy who would get hit with a pitch and sneer at it. He was the guy who would block second base. Yeah, he was the guy who would die. Like people loved that gritty type of guy. Now he probably was. They always make the mistake of liking the gritty more than the talent. He actually had the talent and the grit.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so he was loved for that. I'm just trying to think of some other Eagles players maybe over the years. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's the grittiness. Because you look at Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. People were so excited for him to come back this season, even though he said he hated Philadelphia fans. I forget what he called us. Ray, do you remember what he called Philadelphia fans, CJ?
I forget.
It was something
It was
along.
a big thing for us for like 2 weeks there.
Yeah, he's like, I hate those MFs or something he said about us.
Yeah.
But then it was like, people were thrilled
They
when.
called us obnoxious.
Obnoxious, that's what it was.
We're obnoxious. Which,
I guess we can be a little bit. A little obnoxious. We got a 7-2 football team, and people still want the coach fired and the quarterback benched. Maybe that's a little obnoxious.
All right, I want to, before we get back to the phones and go to the text board, I just want to bring this up because this is an interesting discussion. Jared McCain played a great game last night. Maybe he's going to be a little better in this league than I thought because he got almost any shot he wanted in that game yesterday. But I was looking at social media, and there was a post of him holding up a LeBron jersey with the LeBron writing a little message to him and autographed it. And he's holding it up with a big smile. And it hit me the wrong way, probably, right? Because it hit me like, you lost that. Like, that's after a loss. Like, I could see, like, okay, he's being a fanboy, but he's in the NBA now. And, like, if you won the game, maybe that plays. Or if you don't win the game, you what you got was a keepsake. And this is something you can always cherish. That LeBron James signed this for you. I didn't feel great about it after a loss. Now, am I wrong?
Well, LeBron's message on the jersey.
Call him Young King or something.
Is probably right towards you. He says, to Jared McCain, continue to block out the BS noise. Nothing better than working hard and simply being you. Love, Young King. That's what it says.
Yeah, I think he's calling him Young King, right?
I think he's calling himself Young King, isn't he?
Is that what he's trying to do?
No. I think he's calling him. I think he calls it like.
Yeah, I think he's calling him Young King.
Yeah,
he's calling him Young King because on the other side is where he signed.
Yeah, he says love Young King.
Love you, Young King. Like love Young King, like meaning you're a young.
Sending love to you, Young King.
Well, then he signs it, and then he hashtags strive for greatness, but does the hashtag work when you write it? Do you have to hashtag it?
Well, whatever LeBron, whatever LeBron.
It's his thing. He does the hashtag strive for greatness so much.
Because I saw it and I posted I posted a question mark. That's all I posted in response to it. Because I wanted to see how people felt about it. Because I go, you just lost that game in L.A.
It would bother me if it was anybody other than LeBron. Because, look, Jared McCain, how old is he? How old is Jared?
20? 19, 20?
And he said he grew up. I mean, really, I look at it as if I was growing up watching MJ and then I get to be on the court with MJ, I think I would be fanboy a little bit, too, with the jersey.
You're a pro player now.
I get it, but it's still one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
I get it. I understand he's one of the greatest of all time. So you take that as a keepsake. I'm not so sure after a loss,
he probably didn't have to post it.
Was he the one that posted it?
I don't know.
His algorithm hasn't figured that out for me. Someone else could have posted it.
Well, who took it? His brother?
Maybe family? I don't know.
Maybe his family took it and posted it. Either way, it's like
it's a cool moment
I got
for a young
news
guy.
For you. I'm going to get outnumbered 99-1 on this.
Yeah, I know. You know that you're going to.
I know. But when I saw it, I go, you lost that game, dude.
Yeah, he took the confidence.
I'm not in the mood to see LeBron signing his jersey for you.
But it was his brother.
27-point
performance. His brother. All right.
It was his brother who posted it.
Then he sanctioned it. If it was his brother.
Wait, his brother reposted it. Cameron Salerno. Who's that?
Regardless.
CBS Sports. So Cameron Salerno from CBS Sports said LeBron James gave Sacramento native Jared McCain a signed jersey after the 76ers played the Lakers last night. Hap tip Jace McCain. So Jace must have taken the picture, and this guy tweeted it out.
Well, I think Jared knew he was going to post it.
Well, he might not have posted. Your point here about McCain getting in on
so I don't have enough information. But let's just say that it was sanctioned by Jared. Ray, what's your opinion?
I'm fine with it. He's idolized the guy forever. Yeah, it's a little fanboyish, but it's LeBron James.
That's the thing.
Yes, you're in the same league as him now. Yes, the first time you see him, but we hear talk all the time. These podcasts, we play News at Noon. Like, I was in awe of Michael when I got on the court for the first time across from him.
Yeah, you say that. You're in all of them. I get it. Now you compete against them, and I'm not so sure you should post a jersey of a team that just kicked your ass. That's
but do you
all I'm saying.
remember after our first show, Ray had you sign his shirt?
I posted it.
No, Ray did not. Ray did not. Let's go to Tommy in Trenton. Tommy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Tommy.
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
What's up, Tommy?
Hey, first I want to shout out to all the veterans. Happy Veterans Day. Happy birthday to you, Mike, 21st.
Yeah, it's my 21st birthday. Thank you. I'm a man.
Yeah.
I can drink now.
Now, I wanted to make two points on Jalen Hurts. The first point is I think he just, right now, because of his peers, like you have Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, these guys are so talented and they're so well liked around the league so much that I think our fan base is comparing the likability to people like them who are also playing on the field and are talented as well.
Yeah.
But I also think kind of like we have like McNabb trauma. Like for so long, McNabb was good, and we all thought that he was going to be good enough to take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were telling us no, and we didn't want to hear it. And I think when it finally came to realization that we knew that it wasn't going to be, and now we're just like reliving the same thing. And I think to Bill's point, that we're scared of being wrong, but not in that same way. We're scared to be wrong that this guy could be the one to get us multiple rings and make us a dynasty.
Well, what do you think? Is he? From what you've seen, so he's still in the young stages of his career.
He is. No, I definitely think he's capable of doing it. I just think that we're very impatient and we're obnoxious. We're comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, who did it in a blink of an eye. And then we look at him and say, is he even close to being able to be on the same talent level as Mahomes and things like that? And we're all just doubting him. We're scared to be wrong. I think that he definitely can, definitely get us another ring or two. But I think we just got to be patient.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are we compare, like, it would be short-sighted to me to think that compare him to what Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes has done in this league already. Like, I don't even go there with that.
No, but how many Super Bowls has Lamar been to? Now, I get it. He's got to get through Mahomes to get there, but Hurts, in a very short time, has had a lot of success. And I do think that we move the goalposts a lot on our players. Jalen Hurts, what he's done to start his career, we should be very excited about as a fan base. But for whatever reason, we're not. And I get it. It wasn't a perfect game yesterday. He didn't have a perfect season to start with the turnovers. Last year was an ugly season across the board. But a majority of what you have seen from Jalen Hurts is a winner that has proven he can win big games. He showed up in the biggest game of his career going up against Patrick Mahomes. He put up a stat line no quarterback in NFL history has ever put up in the biggest moment. So I don't think it's necessarily fair criticism at times. Yes, Jalen Hurts makes mistakes. He needs to clean up the turnovers. But look around the league. It could be a lot worse. Think about who your quarterback could be.
I can't. I never go. It could be a lot worse.
It could be a hell of a lot worse.
I never do that. I never do. It could be a lot worse. My guy is my guy, and he's got to play to a certain level. I don't like take solace in that. It could be worse.
Well, you and I talked before the season started, ranking quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You had Aaron Rodgers in your top 5. Would you want Aaron Rodgers right now?
Not now, no.
So
coming into the year, yeah, because of what he's accomplished. Not now. This is why it's every game counts, and it's just, you grow and you learn about a particular player as the season goes on, and this is what we're learning.
Maybe that's a better question. How much better could it be?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you next. In the NFC, now not the AFC, because you got Lamar and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow in the AFC. What quarterback in the NFC right now would you say I would take over Jalen?
I'm not complaining. I don't want to play that kind of a game because I'm not complaining about Jalen Hurts.
Well, a lot of people were anointing Jordan Love this summer. He hadn't looked that great.
Yeah.
All right.
Hurts has played since he has become this new Hurts, which is more game manager than anything. He's been tremendous. His quarterback rating is high every game.
Now,
I can't complain about that.
When we use the term game manager, and I've made the mistake of using it before as well when I'm talking about what Jalen has done, I don't look at a game manager as a guy who in a big moment can make a big-time throw down the field. And you look at this Eagles team, they lead the league in 40-plus yard plays. Jalen, his deep ball outside of that one to Devontae yesterday has been really good. I don't look at a game manager as being a guy who can create explosive plays. And Jalen has the ability with his legs and with his arm to create explosive plays.
I get it. Here's the context. He has managed the game with the run being the primary focus. I think that's helped him make those kind of plays. And I'm not complaining about it. If that's the way they're going to be most successful, I couldn't care less. He doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson making spectacular plays every game. If you're going to make a 40-yard throw based on the fact that you're running the ball 38 times a game, that's fine by me. Now, at this time, I want to thank the Dallas Cowboys for taking the complete starch out of this show for an Eagles win. The Dallas Cowboys suck so bad that we're not even excited about what the Eagles did yesterday.
You want to talk about the sun and the moon?
610-632-0975. 1 o'clock hour up next.
Holding court.
The Eagles demolished the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. I gotta be honest with you. The Dallas Cowboys are a Trek franchise right now. And that quarterback couldn't beat that team that played in Roadhouse on the beach. It was embarrassing to see that Dallas Cowboy team turn into as feeble a team as they are. I was like stunned. And to put a quarterback like that out there was pretty embarrassing. Look, I digress because I want to give the Eagles a lot of credit right now because they took care of their business. Even though they started off really slow, they got it together and they made it a rout. And now they have the big test coming up. Actually, 3 games in a row that should be a big test for them, starting with Thursday against a team that lost yesterday. So I don't know how this plays out. Bill, what say you after watching that game?
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
Well, it was a dominant performance. I know there's some people who are reluctant to declare them as true contenders, even though you're right. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now because the old cliche, you can only play who's on your schedule. And the Philadelphia Eagles are dominating bad teams. When you're a good football team, you are supposed to dominate bad teams. They've dominated the Cowboys. And it's the way they're playing right now. It is true complementary football. We knew the offense was going to be good. We knew the offense had talent and skill. But what we didn't know coming into this season was how good this defense could be. This defense is unbelievable right now. They're creating turnovers. They're holding tight in the red zone, not allowing teams to get touchdowns when they get down there. It's time for Eagles fans to be excited.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's 1 o'clock hour of the Mike Missanelli Show. It's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lion Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment parts and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations. They're in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right, so the Eagles now Thursday. I don't know how Thursday games kind of mess us up.
I hate them. I do. I hate Thursday.
I mean, we have a decent lead up to them. I mean, it's going to be thick. Thursday night's a big game. I mean, they're playing a good team. This is a really I didn't expect Washington to be there, basically. And I don't know how the loss is going to affect them. Like, how do they bounce off a loss? Do they say, oh, well, you know what, we're not that good after all? Or are they energized by the fact that they probably should have won that game? And the quarterback seems unflappable. I've been really impressed with him. I didn't think I would be. I didn't think a young quarterback would be able to do that well. And so you got the Eagles team that's rolling, and you got Nick Sirianni. So let's hear a bit of Sirianni as we start the 1 o'clock hour with the post-game Nick Sirianni. Can we do that?
We talked yesterday about the detail. We talked yesterday about the physicality. We talked yesterday about the talent that we have. And we said we want to do specials. And to do specials, you got to do it together. There was a moment in this game, right? All right, we came out 14-6 at half. Defense gets a stop. Special teams gets a big return. Offense punches in. That's complimentary football, right? Continue to find ways that we grow closer together. That's how you do special, right? And we're all into special. A good teammate is selfless. A good teammate knows it takes in everybody. A good teammate is there for each other in the good times and the bad, especially the bad. A good teammate trusts everybody because they built that trust up. And a good teammate doesn't blame. They take accountability. Keep coming closer together as a team. I feel it. I know y'all feel it. It's a great way, all right? But we're going to have to move on quick.
Wow.
Show me a wall, man. I'm running through it.
It's like the 300.
I'll tell you, look, you make fun of Sirianni. You've called Sirianni a goof.
What's do specials?
What's that?
Specials. What's he saying?
Oh,
special bleep.
He bleeped it out. It was special S word.
Oh, doing special would be S?
Yeah, doing it. If you want to do special bleep.
Okay. Oh, I get you.
Then you got to do special bleep together.
Okay.
We make fun of Sirianni for being a goof and a clown and all these other things. His message is clearly resonating. These guys are coming together. They are playing complementary football as a unit, and he's getting the best out of these guys. And he has. Everyone wants to keep going back to last season. You love going back to the collapse of last season, him not having an answer. That was 6 of 7. I agree. It was bad. But we're now on 3.5 seasons, and all this guy does is win football games. He has the most road wins in the NFL since 2021.
He's been unleashed, Ray. He's unleashed.
It's just
Bill's unleashed. There we go.
All right, hit it, Ray.
You just need just a little bit. You can run a high-powered car on just a little bit of petrol.
Sirianni knows how to coach. Sirianni knows how to coach.
Enough. Let's move to the other franchise.
Sirianni love,
where they're where they don't appreciate their coach. Let's hear Micah Parsons speak on that. You take your own message from this.
You know, that's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, you know, all coaching aside, coaching, you know, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys, I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out, you know, because that's what I wanted to hold the trophy for. You know, you want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
Oh, my God. Micah. That's not spoken like a true Penn Stater.
If Micah wasn't such a smart guy, I would have thought maybe he misspoke there because they asked him a question about McCarthy, and then he just says he feels bad for these other players. But he knows what he was doing there, saying they've done a lot more than Mike McCarthy has ever done.
Hey, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you lose like that, what's the point of having Mike McCarthy back in the building? And then the guy says that, like, if I'm the owner, I go, well, it's kind of toast at this point.
Yeah, they really shouldn't have brought him back. They made that
I'm
mistake.
talking about, like, right now. Like, they are out of the playoffs. They're done. Their quarterback's going to have surgery. So what would be the point of bringing him? Like, now you got to start over, like, right now.
You do. I know McCarthy will get the axe at the end of the season, but if Jerry Jones is being honest with himself, he's more responsible than Mike McCarthy. They were the ones that decided to make their team worse this offseason. They lost 2 starting offensive linemen. They lost their starting running back. They lost a player on their defensive line. They lost their defensive coordinator. They didn't do anything to upgrade their football team. They let Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contract issues go all the way into training camp, into the start of the season. They created this. So, yeah, Mike McCarthy, I don't think he's a great coach. He'll get axed. But Jerry Jones needs to look in the mirror. They created the problem that's going on in Dallas right now.
Let me ask you a question about old coaches. Can older coaches still have a place in this league?
Well, Andy Reid's pretty old.
Yeah. Have you seen that commercial? It's hysterical. He's turned into its personality.
He has. I mean, between him, Mahomes, and Kelsey, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Andy Reid's older, but I don't know. Maybe he's the outlier. Do the older coaches? Andy Reid wins. Like I say, that's what players believe in him, and he does it with a style that's really unique. But these older coaches, are they too old to relate to modern day players? And McCarthy doesn't relate. His defensive coordinator probably doesn't relate. Zimmer.
We're talking as a head coach or as a coordinator?
Well, maybe both. Now, Fangio still relates. Is Zimmer not relating down there, is he?
No.
He was considered a pretty good defensive coach.
He is, but in Zimmer's defense, too, they had injuries. Micah Parsons, this was his first game back in a while. Deron Bland has been hurt. Like I said, they lost a member of their defensive line, I think either to injury or free agency. I forget what happened. So it's not all on Zimmer, but you would expect him to be a little bit better. I don't know. You'd ask about the older coaches. I mean, really, you've never seen an NFL coach win a Super Bowl, leave that franchise, and then go win a Super Bowl somewhere else. The retreads don't work.
Look at the coaches, though. Who's an older head coach?
Older head coach.
There are very few.
Yeah, you're right.
By the way, Zimmer, does Zimmer still date that model? Mike Zimmer? Do you know that story?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Mike Zimmer had this,
I'm Googling.
He had a model girlfriend.
Really?
Yes.
Zimmer?
Yes. It was Zimmer. But he was the head coach at Minnesota.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he had a model.
Katarina McKetton.
Yes. Like, where'd that come from?
It says Zimmer is reportedly dating Katarina. This is from September of 2024. Almost a decade later, I guess he got divorced. Zimmer had found love once again. They've been romantically linked ever since the two were spotted together.
She's like in her 30s, isn't she?
Good job. Hold on, I got a list of the older coaches.
Okay, go ahead. No, he just blows off the Zimmer part, dude. He's so obsessed with the football part.
Well, no.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I'll look at Katarina during the break.
Go ahead.
We got
not going in that studio.
Well, John Harbaugh, 16 years of coaching experience. So I guess he's older. Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton. Sean Payton's got 16 years. Andy Reid, 25 years. Jim Harbaugh, 16 years. Mike Tomlin, 17 years. But Tomlin was hired young. But outside of that, everybody's like 6'5".
Jim Harbaugh doesn't seem like an older coach. 610-632-0975. Back with your calls after and some text after this.
Philadelphia Flyers hot.
Get to the text board here, and then I see, like, I dropped Ben DiNucci's name in a tweet yesterday as that game was going on. I'm going, you might as well reach out for Ben DiNucci. I just saw a tweet that he put out. We'll get to that in a second. What are the text boards saying, Ray?
We got Jason in North Philly checking in. I don't get why people are worried about Hurts' demeanor or attitude. As long as he's winning games, he's good with me.
Okay. All right.
Big Hurts fan supporter. Sorry, wasn't loaded there. Big Hurts fan supporter, 2 jerseys, 1 T-shirt. But yesterday I was losing my mind in the first half. He was holding the ball too long. Was baited that interception. They missed tight end open. I don't tweet my hate because too much hate on there. But he was able to turn it around. Also, Hurts reminds me of Crock-Pot. Takes a while to get going, but when it's done, tastes so good.
Wow, look at that. It's pretty good.
I feel like Jalen would say something like that. I'm just a Crock-Pot.
Yeah.
It takes me a little while.
That's not dignified enough.
Not dignified.
Yeah, you can't say crack. That takes it down to.
Momentum is a mirage.
Momentum is an illusion in the sense that it can end and begin at any moment.
Yeah.
It's a drop now.
Momentum is an illusion.
I'm getting the T-shirt.
All right, let's see how good Ray's movie memory is. Mike's not going to know this one either. I'm going to get made fun of for this one, but looks like Mr. Momentum might be changing his address. Come on, Ray.
It's some silly sports movie.
Yes, very silly sports movie.
I don't know.
Somebody out there knows it. They're saying it to themselves right now.
Absolutely. That person's already been disappointed with me and my movie knowledge for
Little Giants, Ray. Little Giants.
Oh, how could I forget?
The annexation of Puerto Rico, Ray.
That's Ed O'Neill in that?
Yes. And Rick Moranis. Look, you know it.
And Rick Moranis.
John Madden makes a cameo.
I never saw it.
You should see it. It's a great movie. It's classic.
I glanced at it once. It was on, and I just glanced at it, but I never actually watched it from start to finish.
It's a great movie. My kids love it.
It's amazing that these movies that do it for you.
Yeah, that one does it.
It really is.
Well, that one's from my childhood.
Okay.
And my kids love it.
All right, Ben DiNucci. Here's what he tweets yesterday. Am I the only one who would rather watch college football over NFL? Now, could this be the Ben DiNucci that played for the Dallas Cowboys? Let me see. It says on his bio, I play football sometimes. Co-owner, truebrand.com.
Yeah, that's Ben DiNucci. I'm looking at it.
It is Ben DiNucci?
Because if you see it, yeah, I opened up his picture. That's definitely him. Oh, let me make sure.
Okay, truebrand.com looks like a hat.
Yeah, that's him.
A hat. So he's now doing hats?
Yeah, True Brand.
But in his website, it's like he has the photos of the hat, but you didn't take a photo of the hat and the letters go backwards?
Yeah, it's the upside down backwards. They got the Philly ones, too.
Oh, this isn't actually upside down supposed to be?
Yeah.
Or is it because the camera is doing that?
No, it's like a new...
That's the new thing?
It's a new thing, because I've seen the Philly has the same ones, upside down.
Really?
And backwards, yeah.
Well, why would you... Why would you want a hat like that?
I guess you're running out of designs, so they got to try something different.
Seriously. Upside down backwards?
Yeah.
Would you wear that? Would you wear a hat like that?
Probably not. But I've seen them.
All right, so Ben DiNucci left football, and he started this hat company, and that's the Ben DiNucci.
That is the Ben DiNucci.
All right.
The one and only.
And of
the
course,
all-time great, Ben DiNucci.
No kidding. He would prefer college football. Reminds him of a successful time in his life.
That's
true.
Who
did he play college for?
James Madison.
Oh, he went to James Madison?
Madison.
How did you know that?
Because I got his Wikipedia page up right here.
He's only 27.
I know. He could have hung on as a backup for a lot of years with all the stiffs that are in this league as a backup.
He started at Pittsburgh, Greg.
He went to Pitt.
Well, he was originally committed to the University of Pennsylvania. Do you want me to do that? I'll read the
Ben DiNucci bio. Wait, what? University of Penn? He must be a smart kid.
Although he originally intended to enroll at the University of Pennsylvania, DiNucci decommitted and accepted a football scholarship from the University of Pittsburgh after Pat Narduzzi was hired as the new head coach.
All right, while we're doing Wikipedia, guess the person I'm talking about.
Nathan Peterman.
He was born November 11th. Raised in Bristol, Pennsylvania. Attended Penn State University, where he played college baseball as a second baseman for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Graduated from Penn State in 1977. 1986, graduate of Widener University Law School.
Why are you looking at my bio? There's
no one for the two of us to look at for ourselves, you know?
Where's my Wikipedia page?
What is the point of that bio?
Where's Ray's Wikipedia?
Bill's Wikipedia. During his freshman year
I have never actually looked at that ever. All right, 610-632-0975. I'm just going over this game yesterday, right? And this is the thing we were talking about with Hurts. He throws the interception in the end zone. Now, this was after he got sacked a couple of times. He was holding on to the ball. And the venom came out for him. Now, I get, and then he fumbled on the next possession. Now, what were you thinking? First of all, Bill, what were you thinking? That he had regressed and gone back to the turnover version of Jalen?
I was trying to figure out what Dallas was doing that was confusing Jalen. They were doing something that was getting him to hold the ball. And I even said, could it also be the sun glare? Because something just seemed off with Jalen Hurts. I wasn't jumping to, he's regressed, and this is what I'm talking about with Jalen Hurts. No, there seemed to be something off that was forcing him to hold the ball a little long, not getting the ball downfield to his playmakers. Something was off. Now, they did try to take away the run early. They were loading that box. Dallas figured we're going to try to stop the run, but they were also doing some things. I mean, he had pressure in his face a lot in the beginning of the game. Now, he was some of it self-inflicted, but I just thought something's going on. He's got to figure it out, and he did. That's why you play 4 quarters, though. You know, we overreact. Yeah, he didn't have a great first half, but then he turned things on. He made some big plays. That touchdown pass I keep going back to, where the free blitzer came, he dodges the blitzer, extends the play, and then throws a dart. I guess it was to Goddard. That's a big-time play from a big-time player right there.
So the fan base judges him harshly. So let me just go over a couple of things that he's accomplished so far. First of all, he's 14 for 20, 202, 2 touchdowns, 115 passer rating. Now that is okay. He also has 10-plus rushing touchdowns in 4 consecutive seasons. He became the first quarterback in NFL history with a pass touchdown, rush touchdown, and a 100 passer rating in 4 consecutive games. Is that a noteworthy streak, or is that
well, according to
taking a shot in the dark here?
No, I think it is, and according to Ruben Frank, the 5 straight games with a passer rating of 115 or higher, there's only 6 quarterbacks in NFL history to ever do it. Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. That's pretty damn good, Mike.
First quarterback in NFL, let's recap. First quarterback in NFL history to have 4 seasons of 10-plus rushing touchdowns. First quarterback in NFL history to have 10-plus rushing touchdowns in 4 consecutive seasons. First quarterback in NFL history with a pass touchdown, rush touchdown, 100 passer rating in 4 consecutive games. First quarterback in franchise history to have multiple games of 2-plus pass touchdowns, 2-plus rush touchdowns.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty lofty, right?
I know what the haters are saying right now before they even pick up the phone.
What are they saying? Who did he do it against?
No, it's the brotherly shove. The only reason he gets those touchdowns is the brotherly shove.
Good point. All right. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Let's look at the true Super Bowl contenders, which Bill believes the Eagles are. So ESPN's NFL Nation projected the 32 teams in the standings, and they grouped them in tiers. So tier 1, the true Super Bowl contenders. Chiefs. Chances to make the playoffs, 99.9%. Chances to make the Super Bowl, Bill, 29.7%. That's pretty high.
That is high.
Second, the Buffalo Bills. Chances to make the playoffs, 99.9%. Chances to make the Super Bowl, 22.8%. Next, the Detroit Lions, 99.4% chance to make the playoffs. Chances to make the Super Bowl, 33.9.
Wow, that's got to probably be the highest odds, right?
It is the highest. I say, yeah, so these aren't grouped in, it's just a tier. Baltimore Ravens, 22% chance to make the Super Bowl. So those are the top tier teams to make the Super Bowl. Then there's a tier 2, playoff locks. Philadelphia Eagles, 95.3% chance to make the playoffs. Chances to make the Super Bowl, 15%. Less than half of what Detroit is.
Not buying.
Your thoughts?
I think you saw last night that the Detroit Lions are a beatable football team. It's something that I've been saying all season. Yes, they're a good team. They are not an unbeatable team. Jared Goff is a good quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. They're not the greatest team you've seen in the NFC. They're just not. They're not the 49ers of last year. 49ers were a really good team last season. The Detroit Lions are a good team. They're not an unbeatable
You have a hate.
team.
You have a hate taint.
Well, I think what's holding some people back from jumping in with the Eagles is that the head coach makes bad in-game decisions. And I think you could look at the Detroit Lions. They're the exact same team. A good offensive coordinator and a good defensive coordinator. A CEO head coach that sometimes aggressiveness borders on recklessness. I could say that, and you would be like, are you talking about the Eagles or the Lions?
No, that was last year, though. I mean, you can evolve. They're a pretty good team. Yeah, I think you take less chances when you have a better team. They're better this year, so there's no need to take as many chances.
True, but let me ask you, who would you rather have, Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff? Now, according
reluctant nod to Hurts because of what he can do with his legs.
Yeah, he does more. Now, looking at the MVP odds, Jalen Hurts has the best odds to win the MVP out of all NFC players.
Really?
NFC players.
Okay.
Now, Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes are all well above him.
Okay.
But you look at the NFC, and this is what I always compare Hurts to around the NFC. He's tied with Jaden Daniels at a plus 1,400. Jared Goff is a plus 4,000 to win the MVP. So according to Vegas, they're not on the same level.
All right, let's move on to the issue of the sun
and the moon.
Yesterday, which, if on TV it did look blinding, and the players themselves were saying it's blinding, and a lot of people were saying, how do you build a stadium when you know the sun is going to be in that position in the autumn that's going to shine there and cause a glare? So Jerry Jones was asked about it, and he's not in a good mood these days, but here's what he had to say.
By the way, we know where the sun's going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. So we do know where the damn sun's going to be in our own station.
He does, which begs the question, well, why did you build it in that direction? But he also said the CeeDee Lamb was complaining. Couldn't see the ball at all, the sun. And he was 1,000% in favor of curtains. Really? Curtains? Is that what you do?
Apparently they do that for events there.
You put curtains?
They put the blackout curtains on.
All right. So he said a notion that Jones immediately derided when asked about the possibility of installing some shades. Let's tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Is what he said.
He's gotten a little cranky in his old age.
Well, of course he's cranky. His franchise is in tatters. But like you have all these studies that indicate the angle of the sun, and you build it accordingly, right? That's what architects are for.
Well, he says the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. Someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's just like anything else. You can't. They take that in consideration. Like, I never heard this about that stadium. I've always thought how wonderful it is. I never heard it can be problematic at certain times of the day in the autumn because of the sun.
Yeah, is it only? I guess it would only be the 4:25 start this time of year. So maybe it doesn't happen often?
If even 1 o'clock games, if they play them, the sun is eventually going to get to 4 o'clock, isn't it?
You're telling me the Dallas Cowboys were not prepared to play a lot of 4:25 games? When this stadium was built, America's Game of the Week, Fox, you basically were ironclad 4:25 start for a Cowboys game, regardless of opponent.
It's a weird thing. It really is.
It's absurd. How are we talking about the sun? We're talking about the sun.
You've seen the picture, right?
At a place they spend.
Yeah, I saw the glare on TV. I get it.
I mean, these pictures are pretty tough if you're playing quarterback or trying to catch the football.
You're looking into it.
How? How is that the case? You spent how much money on that place?
I know.
And you won't put up curtains.
It's the first time I've heard about it, though. It's weird that it manifested itself yesterday. I really have not heard of that problem before at that stadium.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I've heard that either before.
They showed a replay. I was debating grabbing my sunglasses watching the game at home. It was hard. How is that a problem in 2024 with a real-life stadium?
It's very weird. Vinny in Malvern. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, Mike. How are you doing? Happy birthday, buddy.
How you doing? Oh, it's Vinny.
Yes.
Oh, Vinny. It says Vinny. I thought you were an Italian kid from Malvern.
Mike, I just had an amazing experience. I was at the Whiteout game, my first Penn State game. And dude, it was so awesome.
You were at the Whiteout.
Yes. I told you a few weeks ago I was going to go, and this is my first Penn State game. It was so much energy, man. 110,000 people. The game was great, and I had great seats. 50-yard line, 10 rows up.
Oh, man, look at you, Vinny. You get those seats.
The whole pre-gaming, tailgating was just next level. I didn't realize how crazy it is. Like, I've been to many Eagles games.
For a night game, that tailgate, had to be fantastic in the afternoon.
It was fantastic. So I'm going to hope I try to go for one more game and tailgate to the limit. But that was fun.
You have to go to that home playoff game now that Penn State looks like they're going to host a playoff game.
That is true, actually. Tickets will probably be through the roof, but I'm going to try to get some, and hopefully I can get to it.
Wait, this is the trap week, isn't it, Mike? Aren't you worried about this game?
Minnesota lost to Rutgers.
Bounce back.
No, it's not going to happen. In fact, I bet Minnesota and lost it. Well, I'm glad you went there. Now, all right, so talk about the Eagles, Vinny.
So the only thing with the Eagles, right, and it's kind of picking at the straws here, but I think they are a really good team and they've got good coordinators. They do seem a bit predictable. Like, I was talking to my nephew as the game going on, and they got a couple of first downs. I was telling him, watch them go take a deep shot here. They overthink themselves, and they took a deep shot to Devontae, and he missed it. Again, they try to go to the short game. So they become predictable at times. The other concern, Mike, I have, and I'd like to love to get your and Bill's opinion on this. Our record, right, against losing teams. So we have the 7 wins, right? The teams that we've beaten, the record is 22-45.
Yeah, they're below 500. I know.
They are below 500. So it's a little bit of I don't know if it's a mirage. I do see talent, absolutely. But my concern is, and in the next 4 games, we have Ravens, Steelers. Rams are okay, but Commanders. So there's some good teams coming, and we'll know a little bit more in the next month than we have in the past. And that's what I'm looking for. And I'd love to take.
No, you're right. The Commanders, I think that they will beat. The Rams before the Ravens might be a trap. Could they lose 2 in a row? Could they lose in L.A. and then to the Ravens? Yes. And then that makes that Steelers game, very interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely hitting the toughest part of their schedule. But you remember, people were saying this in 2022 as well, when they were looking at this team and how good are they? Well, who have they played? You play who's in front of you, and the Eagles aren't just squeaking by these teams. They're literally dominating on both sides of the football. That's why I feel good. If they won yesterday 17-14 and the team didn't look great, then you could cite to the record of the Cowboys. Same thing with the Bengals game. And look, the Bengals record doesn't truly reflect how good they are. I mean, you look at how many games they've lost on the final play, it's unbelievable the bad luck that the Bengals have had. So you got to look at how they're winning these games. And for me, it's not even about the offense. We expected it. It's the defense. I never could have imagined that this defense would be anywhere near as good as they are, Mike. I mean, they look like they are a top unit.
And it was shaky early, and all of a sudden it's come together, and these young kids have made a really big difference. Bond's playing at an all-pro level. I see Nolan Smith flying around even. Yeah, it's interesting.
And Quinyon and Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I said, the young kids.
I mean, you're set up for years. See, one of the things that I've gotten on Howie with is when you don't draft well on defense, you have to go out there and you got to overpay free agents. You got to overpay veterans. You have Quinyon and Cooper, 4-year rookie deals. Quinyon has a 5th-year option because he's a first-round pick. You now can take that money that you would have put into your cornerback room and you can get some other players. Like, this team is set up for the next couple of years on defense.
You didn't mention Penn State's big victory over Washington today.
Did they win?
Yeah, they did. They crushed them. There you go. And they're back. They're back into the 4th spot.
Well, Miami lost.
But nobody has given me a pat on the back today, even on my birthday, of my pick of Ole Miss outright
it was a big
over
one.
Georgia.
Did you play it? Did you play the money line?
Certainly.
What was the money line on that game? Plus
I
what?
had money. I took they were getting 3.5.
Oh, you took the points.
Yeah, because I think I win it outright, so I just guarded against a 1-point loss by taking the 3.5 if they were going to give it to me. Ole Miss uniforms are fire.
Yeah, you like those unis.
Oh, my God. That blue? Ray, come on, man. Ole Miss with that kind of blue? What is that blue? It's a beautiful blue.
Oh, wow.
With a little sprinkle of red in it.
It's the...
What is that blue color?
I see someone calling it powder. I don't know if it's a powder.
Yeah, it's not really a powder blue.
It's deeper blue than powder blue.
It's a nice blue.
It's a bright blue.
While you're talking about uniforms, the Texans uniform yesterday was hideous.
The all red? Oh, I was digging it.
Dude.
I love the all reds.
Did you hear them on the broadcast? They were saying they couldn't even read the numbers of the names on the back of the...
That's too bad for the broadcast. The uniforms were fire.
Nobody ever thinks of the broadcaster when it comes to the uniform.
I didn't like it.
Nobody thinks of the broadcasters. Who cares about them?
Poor broadcasters.
Like the red streak going on there. Those unis.
Who cares about the broadcasters?
I like
2 hours after we just had Al Michaels on.
Great conversation. Catch it one more time on our website, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yeah, Al Michaels wasn't going to broadcast that that Texan game, so whatever. I guess it's time for closing arguments.
Show's over already?
I don't know.
Closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, my closing argument is simply that I'm convinced the Eagles are a good team. Now, it took me a while to come to that realization. And I'm balancing this because the statistic is that their wins have come against below 500 teams. I totally get that. But I think the way this defense is playing, and Bill, you brought this up a little while ago, the defense has really been a solid component for the last several games. And their offense is a tamer offense that is making big plays. Now, that combination is pretty good. That's a winning combination to me. So we will see what happens. Now, we got the Commanders coming up. I think the Eagles win that game. I don't know what the line is yet, but I think the Eagles take care of that game. And then it's a matter of surviving, trying to win 2 of the next 3. And if they do that, I will say that the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender, but not until then. I'm headed there. I am pleased with what I'm seeing. I think it's really weird that this quarterback is not getting the love that he deserves because he always starts slow. But I think it's time we appreciate the offense being steady, right? Not up and down, steady. And I like that part of this Eagles team. So I'm going to go for the next 4 games. If they win 3 of the next 4 games, I'm in as a Super Bowl contender.
All right, well, you should be in now because their plus 72 point differential through the first 9 games is their best since 2022 and 2017. What happened at the end of both of those seasons? A Super Bowl appearance. One of them resulted in a Super Bowl win. They've scored 28 or more points in 4 straight games for the first time since 2017. What happened in 2017? They won the Super Bowl. And the defense only given up 10 points a game in their last 5. Only 4 touchdowns allowed in their last 5. They have more takeaways. 10 takeaways in the last 5 games than they do touchdowns allowed, Mike, and 19 sacks on top of it. 10 takeaways in 5 games after they only had 12 in the previous 21. Everything is clicking for this team. You should be all in. This is a true contender in the NFC. But before we get out of here, Ray, a little happy birthday for our man Mike Missanelli. Ray wasn't ready to play.
That's all right. I had something to say about it. I didn't hear anywhere in your closing argument that the below 500 teams concept.
You only play who's on your schedule. Oh. There it is. And you dominated that, Mike. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You weren't a birthday guy before.
Happy birthday, Mikey Miss. Wow, I'm not even on tune.
No.
Way too fast.
You could have given me Marilyn Monroe singing to JFK. Happy birthday.
Oh, but we gave you Bill Colarulo.
Mr. President. Instead, you gave me Bill Colarulo. Thanks,
Happy
Bill.
birthday, Michael.
It's the sentiment that counts, not your bad tone.
Wow, I was way off. You would have thought I never sang that song before.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.